Lift your hands, worship Him, exalt Him. Who can? You are Lord Dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. You are the who God. Alleluia, alleluia. For the Lord Dog Hoogan reigns. Alleluia, alleluia. For the Lord Dog Hoogan reigns. Hoogans. Hogan, Hoogan. You are Lord Dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. You are the Hoogan. You are Lord Dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. You are the Hoogan. You are Lord Dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog Almighty. Who God, you are Lord Dog Almighty. Worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. You are the who can. All the feral children sing. Glory, glory, He reigns. All the feral children sing. Glory, glory, He reigns. Who can? You are Lord God Almighty. Worthy is the dog. You are the who can.
Hail Hoogan Day to you.
Hey, where are you from, ma'am?
Hey,
Where are
look,
you
it's
from?
Dawn.
Io sono from Italia. Viva Italia, per favore, via la lure, mezzo mare, mamma mia, da maledare. Ciacinca, buah. Figlia mia, da fantasia, mamma
she
mia,
call
se
me?
facce tu.
I
How
can't
you doing
understand her. I think
today?
she might be French.
What did you call me, Dawn? Listen, guys. Last week, you did a silly on your dad, okay? You did a silly. I know. What was it, 2 days ago? Whatever. It doesn't matter. Back in time, you did a silly, and you pranked your dad, okay? You pranked me. You got me good. You guys got Montgomery Flea Market guy. Yeah, Viva Italia. It's Dawn Marie. I have to put the lemon in. You guys made me nostalgic as fuck, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I got a little nostalgia. Like a Frenchman, okay? Like a freedomman. By the way, we're at war. What are you wearing for war? What are you wearing, ladies? Guys, what are you doing? Are you going with cargo shorts? What are you going to be caught dead in? Because it's war. Thank you for the $1.49 super sticker, Ernie Birdie. That's going to go to Alf Party Rock Anthem Hotline, the party line that Alf made in the 90s that still reigns to this day, just like the Hoogan. It will go towards that in the end of times. Can't wait to take the subway tomorrow in Boston. It's going to be so fun. You should get Subway too for lunch. No better way to feel American than eating a yoga mat. Hello, Megan Easton is in the house. Dawn Marie, thank you for warning me. Megan, I will sue you with Morgan and Morgan. No, America, G already had someone else. EB, hot dog ears. Absolutely. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Cargo shorts are never acceptable. War is no exception. You know what? This is a great point. Stevie Irwin said it, so I'm going to go with it because I believe him because he's an Australian boy. Even though he spoke with an American accent, I refuse it. I rebuke that. You're Australian. Nice try at American, Stevie. No one bought it. No one bought it. We know you're down under. Look, we're not going to do cargo shorts this war. We'll do it the next war. Okay, everybody? You heard it here. None of that business. Why don't we pick some nice slacks for this war? Okay? Maybe something fun. How do we feel about Levi's? Have we considered Levi's? Any tactical rolling pants, anything that we can tactically roll in, because we know that Dance Kinetics mean she's calloused and she's ready to go. For Hugin Treats, no, it will go to the ALF sex hotline so that Hugin can hear what it's like for aliens that eat cats to infiltrate our grid. What if it was ALF? What if this is all ALF? And then we accidentally got it. There was a misunderstanding. We went at Iran. It was really ALF. Our bad. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do in the hot dog wars? Yeah, you guys got me good. You got me good, you fuckers. Hi, Megan. I will sue. Don't bully me. You're sitting in a wet bathing suit. You're gonna get sick. Jorts? Well, I didn't even think about that. Like John Cena? I could do jorts. A John Cena's heel turn, America's heel turn. Starring that CV. That's actually a really good idea. We want war. Let's war. Hey, how about we should be thankful we get to war, right? Jesus. There's no way to be positive about war. It's just like, well, it's war. Damn it. Oakley's in the war times, that will scare the enemy. I actually think Oakley's could be a good idea. What are you wearing to war to scare your enemy? Actually, maybe we should rethink that. Maybe we need to do cargo shorts to scare the shit out of the Chinese. Who do you think, or who are we warring with? Iran. Should we run? I mean, is that on the nose? Did you see the updated Taste the Biscuit song? I didn't. Where'd you send it to me? Is it in the email? The email. I'm dating myself. I'm very old. War jorts. Okay, they have war canoes in Canada, so I can see that. You prefer Levi's, but Brett Favre has me convinced that Wranglers are real comfortable jeans. Is he still in that lawsuit? If he won that lawsuit, we'll go with some Wranglers. We'll allow it. But if him and Ted DiBiase Jr. and Ted DB's dad are still stealing from the welfare program, then I'm afraid that we can't wear Wranglers. It's not a good look. We don't want it. We're not going to hand Pepsi to the cops like a Jenner girl. Random Brockton horror. Hello. How do I get out of here? Someone show me that. No, you will get sued if you try to leave as well. You will get sued if you try to leave. You're not wearing pants for this war. You're not going to wear any pants. Pantsless war. Pantsless war. You're kidding? Oh, good. Thank God. Come back and bully me. Tithing for the Hooks. Thank you very much for your Canadian tithing. Is that what CA means, or is it California? I'm just kidding. I'm not that dumb. I know. Thank you very much for your Canadian money. That will go towards... What sex hotlines do you have in Canada? I just know that you guys had kids in the hall and Trailer Park Boys, but who's your Muppet? Who's your little crazy Muppet that tells you how to grow up? What do you guys have in Canada? What do you have in Australia, Stevie? War jorts? We'll go with war jorts. Do you have jorts for war? In case war breaks out? Excellent. I do too.
Wait, no, I just have warts.
You just have warts. God, ew. And God damn it. What? No, you're going to the doctor. After the war, everyone goes to the doctor after war. War jorts, warts. Yep. Oh, Pierogi Cacciatore and you have parallel mindsets. Your kids are freaking out. It's going to be okay. See, here's the thing. I told you this earlier. Trump is like, he's like Michael Scott, dude. As soon as he finds out nobody likes this idea, after they express great grief over it, he's going to go, okay, never mind, call it off. And he's going to go, Biden did it. And then everyone's going to be like, okay, what's your next bad idea to give us all anxiety? You're on the phone with your boyfriends forever? Ooh, Darlene. They're bombing Chicago first, so it's been nice. What makes you, first of all, arrogant? Life's a bit. Don't act like Chicago. Okay. Humble bragging, you think Chicago is going to be first? Stop it. Texas is looking good. We're good enough. It's going to become a fight over who gets it first. I'm sorry. By the way, I was trolling Grant Smith Ellis this morning. He was explaining to me how to be an Islamic feminist, and he made me a mod, and it all spiraled out of control. What can I say? There's someone named F. Otter who does not like me. They kept banning me and warning him. Yes, I am a filthy whore. What? Hot pants in the war to seduce the other side? Oh, that's a good idea. Auntie Reed, you have hot pants. Mary No Fucks Malux is here. She's gonna be war mom. She's gonna be behind us, handing us tampons for the war. Why is it funny? Because Haktua Girl is gonna get drafted? Are they gonna draft Haktua Girl? What will we do? Can she even war? What's she gonna do? Spit on them? What will she do? Yeah, I mean, look, we're hey, why can't we get it's like when there's a teacher who pays attention to all the kids in school and you're like, why don't they pay attention to me? And then one day you're watching the E Network and you find out they paid a little too much attention to everyone else in school. And then you're just like, oh, so I wasn't good enough. Wait, no, this is a good thing, I guess. But it also, you still felt left out, but also you didn't want to. Yeah, I did. Everybody who goes into Grant's Month Alice gets to be a mod. And he will actually take you seriously. He was talking about the Pentagon, and I kept being like, not the pentagram. We really need that. And then his mods were getting upset. He takes everything real seriously, so he over-explains it. I'm technically the Commonwealth, so as the Australian spokesperson of the trad, Australian war fits are super short cutoff jorts and construction boots like rescuers down under Nunya Taylor's business. That is true. You all do dress like the rescuers down under, and you fight like Taylor business. Shit, we might need Australia in this one. Damn it. I'm glad you're laughing, but you're not grounded yet. Actually, no one's been grounded this year. I don't even know if I'm allowed to ground anymore. I think I'm changing my position in the family. What if I'm your kid? What if I just call you guys mom and dad and make you responsible for all my lessons? Yeah, by the way, I think Grant and me were being friends, and Deaf Otter got jealous because she immediately started going after my eyebrows, and I was like, touche, bitch. I went after them first. How dare you? Also, you got war pawns. We need war tampons. We do have Stevie. He'll protect us. And also, by the way, we could send Shabusiness. Why don't we just send Shabusiness over there? She was scary as fuck. Shabusiness is the closest thing to ISIS that we have. She does like do a lot of dismembering, and she's very scary, and she'll lunge at anyone. I don't think she gives a fuck. We could send her and Sarah Boone. Yeah, she'll scream WrestleMania and run and lunge at Iran. I'm feeling this mint banner. All of this is brought to you by Melissa Sillam. Blame her for anything I say that upsets you. Yeah, I did go into Grant's chat. I wasn't even trolling him. I was actually being nice. I was just telling him, as long as they don't bob the pentagram, we're going to be safe. And I told him that I'm classically trained in Islamic feminism. And then he mansplained to me what feminism is. And I learned a lot. He also said that no woman wants to be submissive. And I explained to him that, I just need someone to tell me what to do, And then he just went on and on about, Islamophobia and how it's like I think what he was saying was that it's okay to be racist, because he was being really racist. And then I was like, oh, this all loops around to the juror from Brazil with a real law degree who really went to law school and actually became a lawyer. And he's sitting there just fucking ripping fucking weed butts, just ripping dubs, just cheebing, and just yeah, the thing about Iran, nuclear proliferation of weapons in the fucking Middle East. And he's just going on and on. He's having a tism fit while he's smoking. He's listing his disabilities for me. Also, I did go under my Hugin account. So at one point he was arguing with Hugin. Not even arguing. He was having an in-depth conversation. Everyone got so fucking jealous that me and Grant are becoming buddies. They all got mad. They immediately timed me out. They said that they started listing who I'm friends with. And they said that I am just some stupid YouTuber with bad eyebrows and a cute dog. And I was like, thank you for knowing me. Like, oh my God, you know me. And then, dude, I learned so much. I learned that, like, as a woman, I should listen to Grant speak. You know, I need to listen to him and pay attention to him, because he's going to tell me about feminism and about how Iranians, like, and Islamic people and anybody in the Middle East, basically, and that juror and her dad and everybody who's ever been not white who has a problem with us, like, in America, that, like, they want women to be submissive. And then when I would talk, I would be told to shut up, then banned. So just to be clear, I was being told by a man, I was being told by a man today, okay, that I need to just shush my little lady mouth and listen to him while he tells me that I need to stand up for his rights in America, and my rights to be a woman who has my right to vote, okay, and that I should be allowed to drive, and I should be allowed to do all these things, and I shouldn't have to be submissive. And you know, he explained that to me and blocked me, and they blocked me. So that, yeah, then he shut me up, because how dare I, you know? Like, here's the thing about feminism is that, like, if we just shut up and listen to the men like Grant tell us what it is and do what he says, then we won't have to be submissive to men anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if we just shut the fuck up and do what the men say, then maybe, you know, like, we're not going to get to drive, but, like, it's not going to be fair to us. So, like, we need to stand up for ourselves, but listen to them tell us how to do it. Does that make sense? It was very confusing. It's like when they tell you in all the Christian church camps to be more like Jesus, but stay away from the Jews. It's like, well, Jesus is Jewish. So do you want me to be Jewish or not? Like, it's very confusing. It's all just, you know, it's like, just shut up and listen to the men tell you how to fight for your rights, bitches. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, other than that, I did ask him if he would go to war if he was drafted, and he went on a nice, I got to tell you, it was a tight 10. Granted a tight 10 today. Okay. He did a tight ass 10 on how he would give his body up to war. How he's probably still on the rant right now. He's gonna fight for us. Men know the best. That's why you guys don't have husbands. Fuck, turd. Listen, he's gonna make up the rules for us to abide by, but we need to fight for our right to not follow them. You know, it makes sense. You can't spell Grant without rant. You really can't. That rhymed. It's just silly, you know? You're going to be married 33 years? You know, it'd be funny if she's like, well, yeah, in 3 years. Like, if she just made up a random number. Congratulations, darling. I know you didn't. I believe you. And I've seen you sent me, or maybe you posted in Discord, your wedding pictures. Tiniest little, cutest little bride next to the tallest man. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Very cute, darling. Very proud of you. Don't we have birthdays? Is it Tomb's birthday, or was that yesterday? Whose birthday is it? Isn't it you little shit's birthdays? Is it Megan's? Darlene, on the 27th, it's going to be 33 years. Whew, what's the secret? She's going to say something weird like poke him in the toes. Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth, darling. What's your secret? Will you keep yours in a cage? What do you do? Hello, and what the fuck, square peg? Yeah, we're at war. What are you wearing? Get a husband or a wife or someone to like you, and then follow them around and ask them for rides places. Anyway, Grant went on a really great rant, and it was incredible. It was about how he would go to war, but he's disabled, and then he just tells you all his disabilities. He told me, he was speaking directly to me. That's what made everyone jealous. I just want to make it clear the first 20 minutes of today is me just letting you guys know that the reason Grant doesn't have friends is because he's surrounded by yes men who push everyone away. I could have done a piece in the Middle East. If it's Israel and Palestine, I bet with him and like the Young Jerks, right? They don't like each other. I bet I could do an Israel Palestine. I bet I could bring them together. I bet I could. But the problem is yes men. He's like Bieber and he's got all these yes men around him. And you can't get to him. He's protected. He's like Tony Soprano. And he's just screaming at ducks violently high. Grant accused you of gaslighting. Oh, as long as it's not gas fishing, because that's serious. Had me timed out, and the wrench person contacted me and apologized. She's a pro FKR and said it helped to keep her cover. Well, ask that bitch why it better not be. If you're cavorting with Deaf Otter, Mary Malarkey, you need to be careful. I don't even think that otter is deaf. I think it's a person. It blocked me for talking about nuclear proliferation and Islamic classical feminism with Grant Smith Ellis. And I fucking literally short-socketed out with rage at being told what to do by a man in regards to feminism. It was very upsetting. Weapons of mass destruction? Who, Grant? Probably. He probably has them. My sister 100% tricked me is because she knew who got tricked. Okay, here's what we got to do. Whispers is back. Back to whispering. Duty Ron. We're also back to that. We're going to do that some more. Happy fucking birthday, Megan. That was like a week ago. Don't keep it. I almost glitched. He should never have power. And I asked him about the pentagram, which is where all the senators go. It's where the FBI is kept. That's what I told him. If you want to learn about the history of America, go to Grant's stream. You can leave here and go watch him. Go back, check out the comments. Mary Malarkey was there. A lot of us had fun, but we were kept away. We were kept away much like Bieber. We're not allowed to get the autograph. We're not allowed to see Grant. We're not allowed to be up near Grant. We're not allowed to sniff him or touch him. He'll yell, that's assault. And I don't like that. Yes, dude. I was there and they kept calling me a troll and I was just trying to connect. And I asked him great questions and he educated me. And I learned a lot today. And everybody kept calling me a troll. And I was like, no. And they're like, she has bad eyebrows and cute dog. And I was like, thank you. And then I was just like, yo, Grant. And I kept spelling Grant with an M. And it was upsetting a lot of people. I'm telling you, if you just say or spell a name wrong, like by one letter, and you just keep doing it, that's the way to road rage in the house. It's just, it works every time. Yes, he has a YouTube. You don't watch it? It's like, oh my God. It's like Fox News and OWN had a baby. And by OWN, I don't mean Trump's news. I mean Oprah's. I'm just kidding. Have you all been trolling Grant? Not trolling, trying to get to know, but he's surrounded by yes people. He's impossible to get to. He's gotten too big. He's gotten too big for his britches. Okay. Go to his chat. It just has to be a mod. Just go in there. He modded me, that silly son of a bitch. Now I didn't do anything with that power because I'm not a fucking asshole, but I could have I could have wrecked his train. I could have fucked shit up. I could have pulled up twice, but I didn't. I just asked him questions about if he'd go to war and if he has served our country and stuff like that. He informed me that he is too disabled to serve. You're tuning in. You're going to get distracted. You need to eat breakfast. Then you have to go to the gym. You cannot get distracted. Listen, we are in war, Andrea. Who cares if you're fit? Stay home and eat snacks. Get fat and then you won't get drafted. How about that? Trump did it. He got a whole ass, what was it, a bunion? What kept him out? Bone spurs? Spur your bones, dude. All I know is they're not getting me to fight because I'm disabled. I'm just going to pull a Grant card. I'm going to say, listen, I can't even do a fucking push-up. Let me talk to him. How about that? How about you let me talk to him? Yo, what the fuck is a gym anyway? What is that? Who's Jim's? You talking about Jim's, the restaurant? He twisted his ankle in middle school. He cannot possibly go to war right now. Listen, I had a big lunch at Chili's. I can't go to war. Okay? I had a quesadilla explosion, and I don't want to be involved in real explosions, if I'm being honest. I need to be able to run to Canada at any second. You are not safe there. Okay? You know why? Because they have snow. They have snow, and you have to be careful. If we learn anything from the Karen retrial, it's that snow is deadly. Lally brought it up constantly. Okay? Anyway, the point is we're at war. Grant can't fight because he's disabled, so we need a backup plan. Stevie says we're going to wear jorts. I'm fine with that. Claudia, you working on art for the war? Excellent. This is a great idea. Claudia is going to decorate for the war. All right. Hello, Claudia. Hello, EB. All right, listen. We need to think of a battling cry. Yes, jorts in the snow. The angels are going to be in jorts when you guys lay down and do this. Okay? So listen. The snow is the disability. Jesus. You guys are very funny today. Time to ignore him? Grant? Never. Bring him closer. I want to talk to him. I have questions. I have a lot of questions for Grant. Dude, you can figure skate in the war. First of all, a fat figure skater, you should just get morbidly obese and figure skate because they don't do that. There's none. Get on TikTok, be like, they said I couldn't skate, and just get to like 400 pounds, 5, 6, whatever the biggest is, to where you won't topple over, but you can maybe do some cool shit with it. Get on there and be like, body positivity, and then do like a spin and a jump and just be a fat figure skater. Like, I don't get why not. Like, name one obese figure skater that's fucking badass, dude. Name one. You can't. That's a market. Corner it. Yeah, and then when you get obese and diabetic, just do that a few years and then take the Ozempic. Okay? So all you have to do is just, obese figure skaters. Hold on, let me. Body reshaped, body movement, keep it. Listen, obese figure skaters, name one. Anyone. Don't Google it. Name Dylan. Do you know an obese figure skater? He's not listening to me. Name one. Steal your mom's Ozempic. It's okay. I give you permission. Tell her she shouldn't have left me. Yeah, just don't. Just do what you're doing. Skate, but then get as fat as you fucking want, and then go on the TikTok and be like, fat is beautiful, and do like a spin. Make it black and white in the background. Put some Chappelle Roan behind it and go fucking viral as shit. It's called Northwest Canadian Pharmacy. I think the only thing that they don't ship is anything that has to be refrigerated. But it's also legal. So I would say there. Definitely there. Here's the thing, guys. We're gonna need a battle cry for war. So I picked one out. I'm gonna let it play. We're gonna do some sillies, and then we're gonna learn some stuff. Okay, it's gonna be fun. Today's gonna be very fun. We're gonna learn some things. All right. I will try to find. I would check it. Maybe. I don't know. It was a couple of years ago when I saw that. So maybe they changed it. The other day I looked and they had the Buongiorno or whatever on there. So maybe. Also, maybe you could just go to Canada and pick it up. I don't know how far you are from Canada, though. Canada is beautiful. Vancouver looks like the Emerald City. And then you find out, oh, it's so expensive for gas. Poutine is delicious, though. All right. Anyway, this is our war cry. This is our war song. Good to see you guys. I love you so much. That Mary Malarkey. You know what? This is a great idea. Let's get Banner out. I'm going to get Banner out now, and I'll get Banner out later also. Let's put this up. Write down this number, kids. Here, I'm even going to, let's do this. I think I have it already on go to go straight to voicemail. So you can call the Obology right now, the Obology line right now, anytime today. And just leave a voice message. You don't have to say who you are if you don't want to. You can just be anonymous and just tell me why you're not going to war. What your excuse is. What excuse will you use to avoid service. All right. So go ahead and leave that. Let us all know. And then we'll play your anonymous excuses. If it's bone spurs, it's bone spurs. It can be real. It can be what you intend to do. If you guys need any ideas, Jim Morrison from The Doors, he just pissed himself. He relieved himself on himself. Hello, Donna Barkley. What's your excuse for getting out of war? You're going to be drafted. You have to get out of war. It's like jury duty. So, but what's your excuse? Call in on the apology line and leave us your excuse. What are you going to say to get out of war? Here's the VIG. Even if you would go or you have gone, you've served, whatever, you're super proud of it. I get that. I love you. Thank you so much. Woo, woo. Proud of you. Great for your service. But this is a fucking hypothetical. We are improving right now. Take this shit seriously, soldier. Okay? They're trying to send you to Nam. Wait, where? No, Iran. And you got to run. We'll say it's the number, it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. 737-239-9112. 737-239-9112. What excuse are you using to get out of war? Grant says he's disabled. What's wrong with you? Why can't you go? Why can't you go to war? Leaky balloon knot is a great excuse. Call in. I pissed myself, sir. That's what, no, Jim Morrison just literally pissed himself, did not bathe for 6 months or something. He got active infections. He almost got sepsis. They were like, oh, he's a bag of trash. He can't go to war and he stinks. I'm blind is a great one. Yes, but I have a gun, sister. Turd, you're going to get yourself. I'm already demonetized. You can't rob me, turd. You're just pointing a weapon at me at this point. Because I got nothing, turd. Showing up in basic training, jorts and Crusoe. Stevie, you'll be the first one they fucking take. If you show up in jorts like John Cena, they're sending you to war, bud. You can't do it. Don't let them take you. Fredrickson? He would do so great in war. Anyway, that's what you can use the line for. Confess why you can't go to war. Are you busy? Do you have plans Thursday night? You can't go to war? What's your deal? You are the front line. You're the guy. What is that fucking movie? I'm picturing Stevie now in this fucking movie that had Nightwing, whatever his name is. The one who got hit by the plow. He drove a plow over himself somehow, James Renner. What's that fucking? It's like a bomb movie. And he's like the first guy. He's like, I gotta go disarm this bomb. The whole movie is just him butthole clench scooting a little bit towards it. And he gets up there and it's like snip. And then he's like, oh, no one died. And then that's like the whole fucking movie. And somehow it was pretty good. I don't know. That's funny. In jorts, though. Anything in jorts is funny, except a funeral. Actually, if it was shit, I might make everyone wear jorts at my funeral because that actually would be pretty fucking funny. All right, here we go. Here's the war song.
Concrete jungle, wet dream tomato. You know, about New York. I like old rap, though. I don't listen to much new rap.
What's old to you, old rap? To me, it's
Let's see.
Jay-Z and Tupac. No? You've heard of Jay-Z.
Yeah, and Tupac. I've heard of both of them. I just don't listen to them like that.
This is literally me in war. This is me looking at all the chaos and the war. And this is me.
Chickens.
And you got the script that I wrote? Grab the script.
I've been meaning to speak to you about this. I can't read these words. They're not in the right order.
It's good.
I think you might be dyslexic, bro. I'm not reading this. I'm gonna.
No, please.
I think you might be dyslexic.
Read the script once.
Okay, you want me to read the script?
Yes.
All right.
And action.
I'll read the words you wrote. Hello, fellow American. This you should vote. Me. I leave power. Good. Thank you. Thank you. If you vote me, I'm hot. What? Taxes, they'll be lower. Son, the Democratic vote for me is right thing to do, Philadelphia. So do. This doesn't make any sense.
All right, well then just say whatever you want.
You responded to a text message from your sister, correct? And your response was, hopefully she kills herself, correct?
Yes.
God, that's your sister.
I did text that. I don't know if it's in the exact context.
Yeah. You know what? Just move past it. Tell the story, please.
Your figures of speech include the following. She's a bitch,
Yes.
a whack job, correct?
Yes.
A retard, right?
Yes.
That's enough, all right?
No ass, correct?
Yes.
She's fucked, according to you, right?
Yes.
Jesus, man.
So we all got what I call a life trap. A gene deep certainty that things will be different. That you'll move to another city and meet the people that'll be the friends for the rest of your life. That you'll fall in love and be fulfilled. Fucking fulfillment. And closure. Where the fuck those two fucking empty jars to hold this shitstorm. Like nothing's ever fulfilled. Until the very end. And closure. No, nothing is ever over. I mean, it's such a desperate sense of entitlement, isn't it?
I'm not a phone expert, so I don't know. I can't read.
9-year-old Tokyo pimp Bryan Albert Jr. is back with an all-new hotspot that answers the question.
Well?
This place, the Waterfall Bar and Grill, has everything. Geeks, Sherpas, a Jamaican nurse wearing a shower cap.
Bukkake?
PB and jelly sandwiches.
Sneezing.
Energy forces.
A Russian man on a prepaid cell phone. Guys with afros. And look over there in the corner. Is that Mick Jagger? An albino that looks like Susan Powder. Germs. Germs? German Smurfs. Of course. And just when you think the fun is over, knock, knock, who's there? It's Black George Washington. And anyone can get in. There's no password. At the door, just do the Cosby face.
The Cosby face?
Yeah. If you want fun, then listen to this. Nightlife designer Tranny Griffith is back with an all-new club that answers the question.
This is funny, Ms. Reed?
And inside, it's just sick. Ice sculptures, winos. You'll see twinks, gypsies, puppets in disguise, a Teddy Ruxpin wearing mascara, human squatty potties. It's that thing of when you sit on the toilet. Giant 300-pound baby, and he spins records with his little ravioli hands. Based on the novel Push by Sapphire. If that's not enough for you, you can hit the dance floor with a human fanny pack. Inspired by true events. If you're well-to-do and you just gotta hunt humans. No. If you're looking to just get murdered. If you're drunk and doing cheap coke off your laundry card. If you're Irish or just white and violent. I know just the place for you. Built in the upside-down world, this bi-curious beach party is the creation of Bryan Albert Jr. This place has everything. Charts, graphs, PowerPoint. A guy who still thinks Jamba Juice is good for you. You want culture, and you want it now. I've got the place for you. This hate speech haven is a creation of
decorated dude
located in
back out front, but in front of Asian house.
As you walk in, you'll be handed a glass of champagne. Or is it piss? This place is gonna have everything. Ghosts, ghouls, goblins.
Little grab ass.
My son. A woman with nowhere to turn. A wise old turtle. And you'll have your own When Harry Met Sally moment when you share a special kiss with Gizblo, the coked up gremlin. They've got a special display of Jewish fireworks.
What are Jewish fireworks?
For the kids, there's a special workshop where you can build a bear, but not the kind you think.
It's like a bear hug or something.
So come by this weekend and check out a VIP section filled with turtlenecks.
Oh, sorry. Do you mean turtlenecks?
No. Turtlenecks. It's a thing when like fat guys have a beard, but only on their chin roll.
Stefan, for people who want culture, like regular culture, like theater, where can they go?
For that, try blindfolded theater group Shakespeare in the Dark. This year, they're performing the Scottish play.
Macbeth?
No, Jackbeth.
Okay.
And don't worry about security, because it's guarded by an army of hobo cops.
I want to shift gears for a second, Sergeant Buchanan, and ask you about some of the physical evidence in the case.
Bruh.
That was legitness.
Okay, I got a SIM card for the burner phone, and whoopsies.
Pausing it because you guys are being too hilarious in the chat. God, you're killing me. Megaberg. I was like, who's Megabeth? Because I've heard that before and it made me laugh. And my best friend from college, her name is Beth. So I'm like, dude, I'm gonna start calling you Megabeth. Like, I just love it. And then I found out she's that mean as fuck lady who hates Karen. And I'm like, God damn, dude. Like, whoops. But it was cool because when he does that whole part, I was like, well, that fits in fucking perfect. Also, put your channels in the chats. Put your channels in the chats. When I go through this later, I'll include them in the bottom description. Forever. Jewish fireworks took you out. I hope Jen Altman saw that. I tagged her, but she was very busy. And also, I need to take this fucking banner down because it slows everything. Take the banner down. Dun, 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 dun. Ton of crushing. Yeah, she gets in so many all-day affairs, entanglements with August. No, what's it called? Twitter fights with that. She's just hosing bitches with jizz. So, like, I don't think she saw it because she was too busy. I need her to see that. I think she would love it. I'm always like, dude, she's a firework. She really is. She fucking trips me out. The fact that she calls a lady named Kim dumb Kim is so funny to me. Like, that lady fucked with her one day, and then it became 2 days, and then 3, and then after a minute, Jen was like, okay, that's it. I will fuck with you forever. I kind of love it. The dedication is amazing. And it's just every day waking up and going online and reminding everyone, this is what dumb Kim would do today. It's unbelievable. And that Kim Fair lady, she looks like, I called her Kristen Chenoweth, but I was in roast mode. But like, really, she does look like a scary Chenoweth, dude. She scares the shit out of me. That lady looks creepy. When people got too much of the filter to the point where there's birds flying around their head like a goddamn Disney princess, it's like, okay, you're what are you, 60? Like, what are you doing? 40, 50, 60? Calm down. You know, you don't need to be doing that. Okay, so check this out. There's an update. You remember how I just appreciate a good troll. Speaking of a good troll, here we go. If someone wants to troll me, I'm all down for it too. As long as it's funny and clever. Like, I'm into that. Like, respect. But like, the troll game is so strong now. I mean, waking up every day to be like, fuck you, dumb Kim. It's like, dude, I can't even wake up for a normal job. I had to like literally become an independent contractor forever. Like, because I'm like, I can't imagine waking up at the same fucking time every day. And it's the morning just to be like, hello world. Fuck this bitch. Very funny. Appreciate it. Love it. Respect it. Bang, bang. But also, like, this guy, he was supposed to be filled with fear from this person on the dark web. And he has now become the one that makes the dark web guy afraid. And today he's decided, first of all, he kept calling the shoe man. That's right. We're talking about Thunderkick again. He's still calling the shoe man back. He's dedicated. You're right, EB. He's dedicated as fuck. And he is 100% trolling this motherfucker. And it's to the point where now the shoe man is like ghosting him. Like, he's not answering his calls. It's not even going to voicemail. Like, I think the shoeman gave up. And it's so funny. So let's watch this. I'm just enamored with this story. I need to know where it's going to go. Yeah, he's the one knocking now, Shelly Babes. Like, he He spun it around, dude. Dude, where is Satan? How's he going to smite all of you if he's far away? Where the fuck? Yo, where the fuck's Megan? Why isn't she bullying me? Oh, there she is. Would you bully Darlene? Damn it. Darlene, you have to call Borgen and Borgen. Don't submit. We just learned that from Grant. No, I'm just kidding. Submit to each other. Yeah, the Schumann got so scared. He got super scared. Dude, anybody who just digs in dirt all day, they're going to be a great troll. Tombstones, I'm not surprised. Schumann cannot take the heat. Pat trolling made you angry? Well, let's see what happens with Schumann. How about that?
Okay, I got a SIM card for the burner phone, and I did text the Schumann. I think that voicemail was saying to text him. These keyboards are like very hard to type on, so the first message didn't really go as planned, but I.
Okay, let's go back because I want to pause on the screen. Let's see what he's been saying to the Schumann because he just kind of goes through it real fast. And this is the part that I think is important. So he's on this old ass phone, which I really miss. I might get one. So here, the Schumann, he's like, and what do you need to explain? What? That's him, I'm assuming, talking to this. He just texted the Schumann. So here's what he put. Here's the first one. Why were you trying to track me? And what do you need to explain? Which I believe was in the last return voicemail. Okay. So then he says, Dear Schumann, I found your number in so it looks like he fucked up because it's really hard to type on these. You have to for those of you who don't know, because I see my demographic is skewing younger the more immature we get in these lives. For those of you who aren't aware, on these old phones, if you have ABC and you want to do B, you have to click the A button twice to get to the B. That's what he's working with. So that's why he fucks up a lot. Or, with the basic shit, because it's not going to spell correct. And then he put disregard that. Why were you trying to track me? So now he's done. Was it Sassy? Remember whoever left? I think it was Sassy when she left a bunch of voice messages on the Obology line. And I was just talking about Swingers and how that's one of the best scenes. And then Sassy did a Swingers and left a bunch of messages. That's what he's doing to the Schumann. But it's not funny and cute like when Sassy did it. He's just asking him a bunch of questions. And the Schumann is not having it. He's just going on and on. So anyway, let's see what he says. I'll let it play all the way through. So that's basically it. There you go.
Okay, I got a SIM card for the burner phone, and I did text the Schumann. I think that voicemail was saying to text him. These keyboards are very hard to type on, so the first message didn't really go as planned, but I did successfully text him eventually, and he has not messaged back yet, which sucks because I thought I would have a bigger update for you guys by now, but that's where we're at. So, Schumann, if you're reading this or watching this, please text me back.
It's actually a good thing I muted myself because I had a very bad take and this is my second chance. I believe that happened on purpose. I hope none of you can read lips. I said a lot of fucked up shit. Okay. So that was a good thing. It was a blessing. Nope. You know what? I stand by it. Listen, I think that, you know how they're okay, like if somebody's, you've never been a drug addict, you don't know what it's like. Well, if you are a drug addict, then you are allowed to speak on it, right? Or like, you're only allowed to say that word if you're, this ethnicity, or you're only allowed to call other people bitch if you're a woman, or you know what I mean? Like only people with cancer can talk about cancer. Like maybe fat people should be allowed to call each other fat. I mean, I'm in the roast battle business, so it's like, as long as you're doing it with love, like, then why not? But it's like at the same time, I'm not saying fat shame anyone. Never bully people for being fat, but like, if someone's getting fat and they spent their whole lives being like, look how fucking skinny I am and all you bitches are fat, then maybe they do need a taste of, hey, maybe, hey, guess who's fat now, bitch? Like maybe, yeah, once in a while, but like not like relentlessly. But at the same time, like if you're fat, you should be able to call other people fat. But usually if you do that, people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're fat too. So that's a real catch-22. That one trips me out. That one, I have to think about that for a minute. Is it okay? Or does it actually make you look dumb and fat? I don't know. I have dense bones. I totally understand. I'm very dense. Very dense. I'm like the earth. Anyway, this is the Staunton Parade in 1993, and it is a beautiful, beautiful weather for today's parade. It's. You guys just reminded me of this. The other day, we had a nostalgia moment. Thank you so much for that. And now we're going to look. I'm fluffy too. We're all little puffy little clouds here, okay? Okay? We're all at tits on a Ritz. That's right. We're all just tits on a Ritz, you guys. Lucky the plow driver is going to come through with tits on a Ritz. Only dumb people can call each other dumb. Only, people with Giardia can call each other Giardia. It would literally just be a bunch of subgroups with different like emotional problem, like people who have very specific disorders just fighting with each other. I mean, that's how you start a war. I don't think we should do it during wartime. I think we should wait and fat shame them after war. Because you don't want one of them to not make it through war and then it's like, we called them fat on the internet. That would be mean. Thickums. I say thicker than a snicker. You know what I mean? We're all just, you know what? Or maybe like, let's just not call each other anything. Call me maybe. What about that? What about that? Yeah, be confident in your fat skin. I mean, your own skin. That's what Don says. Just live your life. You know what? I'm going to tell the McAlberts that if I see them in public, I'm going to say, live your life and be confident in your stretched, thin skin, Jennifer McCabe. If you get fat during war, you're hoarding provisions. Shame. That's true. Also, in wartime, you have to let turd in your house. So don't forget that. That's another benefit of war, I guess. We are just tiny molecules of fat chaos. I can't wait. Now I want Subway. It's kind of the McAlbert's fault for going on national TV and looking and acting the way you talking about looking fat. I gotta assemble a planter. Who can send me patience? Who can? Me needs patience. He can't hear me. He's in the other room. You can call me Betty, and Betty can call me. Well, you can call me AI. Okay, you're AI. Who wants to be AI during war? You'll hoard MREs. You want to get put in the magnet machine? I'm just kidding. I know what that is. Your fun size, that's fun. And Darlene would be like a teacup person because she's real tiny. You know what? We'll assess ourselves later. We're going to be comfortable in our human skin. And we're going to enjoy the Staunton Parade. For those of you who missed it, it's a beautiful day for a parade.
Live from Stoughton, Wisconsin, it's September. We have our Norwegian costumes on. Michael's got his Orm the Grit t-shirt on.
That's Breakfast of Champions, of course.
I have my Norwegian.
That's the Norwegian Wheaties.
Yeah.
They're pulling a pumping vehicle and also a ladder.
Pause it. Okay. All right, let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment. Just take a moment and let's. Yeah, they are. What if we wore this in war? Or is that too German? I mean, this is terrifying to me right now. Or is anybody else terrified? Like, this isn't like, if this wasn't a parade and this happened, if these guys walked into a Chili's, wouldn't you be scared? Wouldn't you get up and leave? I would. I'd be like, fuck this shit. We're going to Bennigan's. I can't. And I never leave a Chili's, but this is terrifying. Your teacup mastiff, Donna Barkley. Mastiffs are so cute. This is the Trump parade. This is the King parade. Not enough pockets for war. We don't need war pockets. They're clearly stuffing biscuits up in there. You don't see it from afar? Yeah, what if we all wear tiny shorts and suspenders into war? This is the bread bowl. You're looking at it, EB. Ernie, this is the bread bowl. The Bundesliga. Wrong account. Wrong account. You drindle dresses? What about your grundle dress? Do we need suspenders with our worst? Absolutely. Do your best. You'll get the worst. Look, all I'm saying is if we're going to scare people in war, that's our war outfit for sure. What do you mean, what the fuck? It's just a bunch of dudes ready to fight. If this group of moose knuckle dads runs up on you in the heat of war, you'd fucking get the fuck out of the way. War jorts. Wait a minute. What if we combine later jortson? We just extend them, turn them into denim. What about that? Extend them, turn them into denim. God bless them. And then you put the little straps on. And then we go into Korea. I'm just kidding. I don't even know where we're fighting again. Where is it? Iran? You're not going to run good in these until we make them into jorts. We're going to combine them with Stevie's idea because he's probably going to be first to go to war. He's young and Australian. And he's probably the only one in here who can do a push-up. Maybe Satan. So they're going to have to wear these. So what are we going to do? We can't go to war. We have periods. Pretty sure Grant said something like that. We have to trust him. So we're going to send all these fucking angry dads in these outfits, but denim and longer. And they're going to fix it. Right? We're good with that. Future Little League coaches. Future. After the war, if they make it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Here we go.
On a wagon.
Dressed in red shorts and suspenders. It's like Donald Duck coming on, waving at the crowd.
Donald or Daffy? I think
Daffy.
I think Donald is black.
Okay. Hi, everybody. And Faye Erickson. She's an avid wrestler.
Okay. I never noticed that before. Did he just say Donald is black? Dude. He goes, I think Donald is black. Like, that is the weirdest thing. That is the weirdest thing. Jesus Christ.
On a wagon.
Dressed in red shorts and suspenders. It's like Donald Duck coming on, waving at the crowd.
Donald or Daffy? I think
Daffy.
I think Donald is black.
Okay. Literally, he's correcting of all the things to correct her on. I think Donald is black. Dude, just let it go. It's a parade. Also, why is there just one horse person? Oh my God.
Okay. Hi, everybody. And Faye Erickson. She's an avid wrestling fan, and she worked at the Stoughton High School for many years.
Faye Erickson. Daffy is black. They're fucking idiots. I'm going to write to the parade people. I mean, yeah, this was what, 28 years ago, 30 something years ago? Fuck it. Faye Erickson is an avid wrestling fan. I didn't know that before I saw this video. Now I know. Faye's pretty fucking cool.
Avid wrestling fan, and she worked at the Stoughton High School
for many years. This is a 20-foot balloon of an Ameritech cellular phone.
Okay, pause it. Stevie, everyone else, all the younger Rabbit, are you watching? Guys, this is what phones used to look like. And this is a real phone. This is the exact phone. This isn't a float or a balloon. This is how big they were. And sometimes they'd have cords.
They're the first shrine clown unit of the
This is Grant Smith Ellis when he was younger.
Shrine of North America. Heaven, the best is yet to come, is the theme of this float as they present Jesus Christ as a friend of all people.
The little pizza guy and the Little Caesar's chariot.
You guys know that the guy who owns Little Caesars paid Rosa Parks rent for her whole life? That is actually a true story.
Have you had any pizza lately, Michael?
Michael, this bitch did a dad joke at him. He's still trying to figure out which duck is black. What the fuck?
Christ is a friend of all people.
The little pizza guy and the Little Caesar's chariot.
Have you had any pizza lately?
Yeah, we are doing history lessons today. So I will pull up the prophecy and I will read it to you. I swear to Satan. I swear.
Michael?
No.
Fuzzy stuffed things walking around the street.
Giving out balloons.
And look at the kids. They're
Oh,
going
yes.
in droves.
Flocking right to the monsters.
Tap dancers up there. And
Some ballet.
Some ballerinas.
Now everyone is green and purple, but I think it's the Midwest. So God forgive him. Here we go. Mike Ilitch, the founder of Little Caesars, privately paid Rosa Parks rent for over a decade after she was robbed and assaulted in her Detroit home in 1994. He also helped her move to a safer apartment. This support continued until her death in 2005. The details of this became public knowledge after Ilitch's death in 2017. He's the guy who founded Little Caesars. Pizza. So even if you don't like their $5 pizza, which I see a lot of pizza reviewers going out talking mad shit, for those of us who grew up poor, that shit, Peter Piper, Cece's Buffet, don't fuck with it. Just let us have it. Little Fox pizzas, little tombstones. Okay. What's the one that we get? Oh, he's asleep. It's like a cafeteria pizza. It's square. Those are Totinos. Don't fuck with my Totinos. Just let us be poor and eat our tiny pizzas, okay? Little Caesars guy, may Little Caesar, even though he's dead, may it thrive forever. Because he paid Rosa Parks rent, and he didn't fucking openly talk about it. They found out after he died, like he'd been doing that, like because she got fucking mugged and robbed. We should look into that. I wonder if they caught the guy, because that's not cool. Like, don't fuck with Rosa Parks like that. I wonder who did it. We should look more into that case. Very curious. Anyway, everybody's green. That's one of the Menendez brothers, I guess. Here we go.
Got some more clowns on roller skates going around too. Amusing the crowd. Must be a thrill for them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. They're having a good time. They look like they're having fun.
He's having fun.
They're having a good time.
Some clowns.
I'd like to apologize to Dawn Marie. Dawn, I'm sorry. It's not that I forgot you were here. I just wasn't thinking. That's on me. I forgot. It's like don't headbutt a Samoan in wrestling. Never, ever bring up Little Caesars around an Italian. And I did that. And that's on me. And I apologize, Dawn Marie. I apologize.
Having fun.
Now we're coming up on Chris Hall. To remind you that June is Dairy Month.
Tits on a Ritz. Tits on a Ritz. Get your look right now. Get your screenshots right now. Tits on a Ritz. This is Lucky, the plow driver. Enjoy.
To drink milk to help the farmers. It's a 1988 Ford LTN 9000.
We'd just like to say to everyone in Stoughton. Okay, we'd like to say everyone in Stoughton that thank you very much for joining us for the Slip in My Parade this year, 1993. Mike and I had a good time.
We've had beautiful weather for the whole parade.
Yeah. Mange tusen tack. Ha det bra.
Ha det bra.
We're going to play that back a few times. Megan, do you need, what's it called? Mega Dam? What's it called? Quick Dam. Do you need me to send you money for Quick Dam? Do you need to get a Quick Dam? You put the flood bags down there and they'll soak up all the water. If you need. Maybe you could do a siphoning system. Did you flood? You flooded? I've been there, done that. As you all know. If I can help in any way, send you supplies, please let me know. Yeah. Beautiful weather for the whole parade. This is Tom Brady.
We'd like to say everyone in Stone that thank you very much for joining us for the Slip My Parade this year, 1993. Mike and I had a good time.
We had beautiful weather for the whole parade.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather for the whole parade. Beautiful weather.
In Stone that thank you very much for joining us for the Slip My Parade this year, 1993. Mike and I had a good time.
We had beautiful weather for the whole parade.
Yeah.
He looks like Dale from King of the Hill.
Många tusen tack. Ha det bra.
Ha det bra.
Okay. Oh. Today, I told you we're going to do some historical OSINTing. We're going to look back at some case stuff. There's some new Bryan Kohberger tea going around. We have to talk about, of course, because it's fucking crazy. But this is a little bit of an OSINT challenge right here, okay? So the weirdest pyramid scheme video ever. This is on the found footage site. So I figured since we're really into found footage on this channel, I'm really into forcing you to watch found footage. What about found footage that's maybe a little mystery? Okay, maybe a little mystery for you guys. So right here, I read this part right here, and I thought it was interesting. We have a lot of get-rich-quick videos in our library, but none as mysterious as 1993's Dreamstorm program. Help us figure this one out because we can't find any info about it. Also, help us figure out what the hell this kid says at 47 seconds. Wow, what a fun OSINT challenge. So, Dreamstorm, the weirdest pyramid scheme video ever. This was found footage from a VHS that they don't know what the, like, you literally, according to them, you look it up and there's not much. They're like, we need to learn more about this. It was a pyramid scheme, apparently. I thought, what a great challenge. Also, at this 47-second point, what is the kid saying is another fun one if you want a mini one. So if you want to do an auditory challenge, pay attention to that. We'll play it back a couple of times. They might have gotten it in the comments. I didn't want to spoil it. But apparently still looking for what the fuck is this, as much information as they can. If, you know, I know that some people get burnt out on criminal cases and a lot of it is violence and injustice and you just want a fun mystery project. Let's figure out what the fuck Dreamstorm is. How about that? You could be of benefit to a channel that has brought us so much joy, which is Found Footage Fest. So why not? So if you're into that type of thing, pay attention. And we're gonna, this is gonna be a fun one. Here we go.
Dream. A series of thoughts, images, or emotions occurring during sleep. These kinds of dreams are only a part of your life while you are sleeping. Like most people, we cling to these dreams.
Okay, kids, the burgers are ready.
I can't do it.
Sure you can, son. Just remember the basics we talked about. Keep your eye on the ball, the bat level, swing hard. And you're dreaming of becoming a big league player someday. So stick with the basics.
Okay, I'll do it until you get it right.
Okay. So that is the part where they're like, what is this kid saying? The kid does suck at baseball, and that guy does look like Zodiac Killer. But let's go back. What is this kid saying here? This is what they want to know.
Stick with the basics.
Okay, I'll do it until you get it right.
Okay, I'll do it until you're... Let's watch it one more time.
I'll do it until you get it right.
I'll do it until you're right? I don't know. This is, I'll do it until I get it right. Andrea. You little genius.
Until you get it right.
It could be that. I get it right.
Okay, I'll do it until I get it right.
Until I get it right? Okay. We all agree? I'll do it until I get it right. I'll do it until I get it right. Andrew was right. This is great. So we've solved that. So we're not even going to look at other comments, even if somebody put it all in there already. According to my friends, can I call us that? I think I can. I feel like we're there, right, guys? Andrea, who said it? He never gets it right. Toombs, grounded. Who we got? Angela said it. Andrea said it. And Totally Clip said it. Andrea. Okay. Angela and Clipsy. The kid who plays baseball badly said, I'll do it till I get it right. There. If we get hosed, we get hosed. But who cares? We will not look. Come at me, Gideon Fox. Okay. We will continue.
Big player someday. So stick with the basics.
Okay, I'll do it until I get it right.
Okay, put your seatbelts on. Can we go get some hamburgers and some french fries? Oh, wow. Please. That sounds like a great idea, honey. What do you say? Please.
You know I don't get paid until Friday.
Okay, I'll do it until I get it right.
Dreamstorm, an awakening experience created by a disturbance in the elements of your old nature, caused by a conscious decision to turn your dreams into realities. Here is what has happened to people just like you that have pursued their dreams.
Good morning.
Good morning. Honey, what day is it?
I'm going to give you my assessment before. Look, it's over halfway through. We still don't know what this shit is about. But my assessment is this is one of those videos that's like, don't fucking follow your dreams. Don't follow your dreams. This feels very Jody Ruby. I now would also like to know what Dreamstorm is, please.
Honey, what day is it?
Friday.
Wow, what a life. I'm really glad.
Wait, is this sovereign citizen shit? Are they trying to be sovsits? What's going on here? I need to go back again.
Morning. Honey, what day is it?
Friday.
Wow, what a life. I'm really glad we went after our dreams.
Me too.
Oh my God, it is a warning. That's what happens when you follow your dreams. I am freaked out. Is it? Is it, Wendy? Could I be trying to pull you all in? I had a lot of fun at the Denver airport. Come on, kids, get on the boat. I'm going to show you a lady named Shelly.
Hi, son.
Dad, are you flying with my trains again?
Our trains.
Boy, these earrings are gorgeous. He's really going to be surprised. But great, we're all set.
What are you up to?
Just have to wait and see.
Oh, me? I'm just out here following my dreams, wearing big ass earrings, hun.
Oh, that was some storm we had last night.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had a storm like that since the night that I decided to change things.
Now is the time for you to take action and pursue your dreams.
Wait, is storm code for like pussy or something? What was going on there? Is it? Is storm? Is uh-oh. The mic gave out. We're at war. The war is affecting my microphone. Okay. Is it Chad Daybell? Oh my God. What if I accidentally suck you guys into Chad Daybell shit? Is this Lori? Oh my goodness. I knew I recognized her. Uh-oh. Is that the title of his book is Storm Penis? This is wild. I still don't know what this is about. The only time I've ever heard of a storm directing someone in their life decisions was like Nat Turner in the slave rebellion of 1833, where he overthrew and killed all the white people who deserved it in Southampton County, West Virginia. And then they were caught on my birthday, unfortunately. Anyway, I can't think of any other time where a storm told someone to go out and do shit that changes their life and all of history. But what is their agenda? What is their agenda? I still don't know the purpose or the point of the cult they're trying to get us into. That I'm trying to get you into. That they're trying to get us into.
Gorgeous. He's really gonna be surprised. But great, we're all set.
What are you up to?
Just have to wait and see.
Oh, that was some storm we had last night.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had a storm like that since the night that I decided to change things.
Now is the time for you to.
I think he put it in her butt. I don't know. I think that's what that meant. Maybe they were edging and now he just put it in. Maybe he wore a different top. I don't know. This is so confusing. I don't even know what the point of this cult is. Maybe that's how they get you into it, is they edge. You're right. What if this is just an edging cult where it's like, you'll find out for $9.95 and you got to come to the pool party. Do you go?
To take action and pursue your dreams.
Okay, kids, the burgers are ready.
What kids want to play ball in a hot tub? It's too hot. That'll just make them tired. Also, why does he look like Dennis Rader? I'm sorry.
Aw, honey, come on and get out. We're going to have all day to play. Come on, we'll eat lunch.
Dreamstorm. It all starts here.
So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start a Dreamstorm thread on the Discord, in the Discord, above the Discord, within the Discord, around the Discord, and also on the community wall. And anything you find on Dreamstorm, let's start a dossier because I need to know what this is about before we get roped in. Now, this could be another ALF situation. We end up in an ALF portal. Yeah, we think we're going into a cult named Dreamstorm. Turns out they're not around anymore. Maybe some misunderstanding happened. Who knows? Then we'll figure it out. We'll find out where they went. We'll follow them there. But this is a great research project. And it doesn't seem that depressing. Everyone seemed very happy. They had hot tubs. They had cool cars. They were boiling their kids. That was a bit weird. But other than that, maybe Alfred's Dreamstorm now. Julie, you bitch. That's pretty good. Maybe. You know what? Maybe. It does look legit. I'm feeling it. If we're going to get into some sort of pyramid scheme situation, let's do it late in the game, right? Like jorts. Like we're going to start wearing jorts? Why? Because war? No. We're going to stay. We're going to stay and we're going to figure out Dreamstorm. We're going to use Dreamstorm. Is there a... I don't know. That's what we need to find out. If it's another sex line, we're calling it. We're calling it. Anyway, so that was one of the ones that I wanted to put in there for you. And then we have one more found footage before we get into the gabagool. It only took us an hour and 18 minutes. Listen, at an hour and a half, I want to get to the gabagool. It's probably going to be another 2 to 3 hour episode. Probably 3. So if we're going to do that, we're right on track. If I was going to try to keep it normal, like other channels, and a tight 90, right? Getting to the point is 90 minutes. If I was going to do a tight 90, split the diff, we wouldn't know about Dreamstorm. We wouldn't get to see the parade. Nor would we get to see what has been described as Memorial Day weekend that turned into Lord of the Flies shit. Now, I don't know what that means. I haven't seen it yet. Come Pig Aunt Kathleen is here finally. You're late. If you're restarting it, okay, I'll start. I'll hit you up later. Or do you pay for the tattoos or do I have to pay for them? If the tattoos are a tax write-off, maybe. We'll talk. Let's not do it here. Also, just want to let you guys know you are Lord of the Flies, so that's what this is about. I have not seen this. I saw the description and I laughed and said, yes, actually we can. That's a great idea. Amy Boyd, thank you for that idea. Happened to see it in time. Perfect timing. I was just thinking how I wanted to reflect on Bobo as well. No better time to do it than right. Oh my God, that was the wrong one. I'm sorry. I'm very
Hi. You're both high.
But now I found the right one here.
Hello, folks. Nuck here. A lot of you have been asking me about my morning routine, so here it is. It's my new teeth. Snort-worthy smile, if you ask me. So I like to start my morning by waking up at 2 in the afternoon, get a quick lift, lick, and lurk in before I go off and spend the next several hours in the woods. And this time is mainly for my freeform lurks. I just lurk like no one's watching. Then I head into town to do some casual creeping. I mean, I'm freaking everyone out because I'm getting in my squirms. But you gotta squirm to stay firm. I forget what I'm doing for the next 3 days and get an office job that I absolutely hate. Spend most of my time hiding in the storage closet, but all my coworkers know I'm in there. The next 26 hours I'm purposefully unconscious. Come to so I can try on some tuxes because I'm getting married. Love to Ragnora. I'll practice my funeral for 30 minutes, at which point I gotta pretend to listen to someone tell me about a dream they have, but I'm really just thinking about what I'm gonna say. Then, and this is important, I'll just wait, eerily, for hours. What am I waiting for? A big heap of nothing. I wait to wait. I'll spend 2 minutes trying to create fire with my mind, giving me just enough time for a last lurk before the day begins. That's the Bobo way.
That's the Bobo way. So that's the Bobo way. All right, let's find out what Memorial Day Lord of the Flies shit happened in this found footage that we've never seen before. Thanks to foundfootagefest.com.
Hey, Leah! What up, girl? Nothing. Nice ass camper. Thank you. Hey! Oh, car!
Did she yell turd? I think she said Kurt, but I'm going to pretend she said turd. This is exactly what you guys would do. Immediately start a fire in your jorts. Oh my God. Look at that.
Camper.
Would you fucking look at that?
Thank you. Oh, car!
What about war jinkos? Has anyone done that? That'll scare them. Dude, that'll freak the fuck out of the Middle East if we show up in fucking jinkos and trip pants with chains. Think of all the weapons you could hide.
By the dawn's early light.
Dawn? Do you hear this? Tactical jinkos. And tombstones could dig all the holes. You lost a finger being redneck with fight. Well, don't. You're welcome, Amy. As long as you're ready for war. We could. Which one of you patriotic motherfuckers would this one be? Huh? I feel like this would be Darlene. I bet he's gonna save some lives.
We're so proud when we hail as the twilight last see me. Good for stripes and bright stars. Through the gale, all the stars for the.
I like how their Memorial Day weekend turning into Lord of the Flies thus far has been starting a fire, wearing jorts, and singing the national anthem. I definitely think someone is going to end up dead by the end of this. But also this could be you. You know how they were saying all through the trial, you could be Karen. Karen could be you. This could be you also. Just think about that. You practice for a whole hour, Wendy? You're going to be prepared as fuck. They can't take that. They can't take that from you.
The free in the home of the...
She said Revenge of the Creek.
George, you're dead! George, you're fucking dead! Hey!
Don't take much. Burn the couch! Woo! Burn the
Okay, this is definitely the trash or the dumpster, Pat. You need to be more specific. We're all self-diagnosed autistics in here. Also, did he? I'm sorry, I have to go back. Was that? Is this just when they tried to redo Woodstock? Because I already saw this documentary. I'm very confused. There's Adidas and there's mud. So I don't know whether to love it or be disgusted by it. I think I love it. Oh my God, they're doing Marcus. They're going into the fire like Marcus. This is you. This is all of you.
Burn the couch! Woo! Burn the There you go. Did I do good, you guys? Oh, fuck yeah. You were the fucking whip shit of all fucking shitter bongers.
Oh, shit. Found Turd and Ernie.
Drake! What's the matter with him? He's fucking nuts.
Poor Stevie getting pressured.
It's that real girl fucking snap. Smell my fingers.
Smell my fingers. There's Dad. Algorithm leaks. God damn it, that's funny. Kate Peters would have taken that couch rude. Damn, dude, that's a deep cut and a callback. Love it.
Real girl fucking snap. Smell my fingers.
Oh my God, dude. Dude, what the fuck? I don't know who they are. I don't know. They're us, dude. This is us. They've been watching. This is from behind the front lines of the enemy. They've been watching us do war, and they know that we're not good at it.
Morning, we go home. Tootie!
Hey, you guys, get the fuck out of here. You guys suck.
Did they say Tootie? Hold on a second. That looks like my buddy Arturo, who we call Tootie, and that looks exactly like him. Is that Arturo? Where is this? Where the fuck is this?
Bye! Alrighty. See ya.
So anyway, that's you guys. Hi, Mary B. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. We just watched our future. How you doing, hun? Okay. Let's get to the gabagool now. Are you guys ready? We might need a buffer, though. A palate cleanser, if you will. You guys need do we need to cleanse our palates before we move forward? Okay. Isn't that what they do in the same video? Pop-pops, listen. We're going to cleanse our palate, and then we're going to go to the point. We got gabagool. Okay. We got gabagool for you. We have important things to discuss. Criminal things. But first, we have to bless all of you. And we have to defuckify the stream. Here we go.
It's time to remove my chihuahua's demon. This time is going to work.
A la víbora de la mar, por aquí pueden pasar. Los de adelante corren mucho y los de atrás se quedarán.
Hoy, mi amor, hasta el perro no te quiere.
Ya está hecho el hechizo. Ahora sí. ¡Újule! Listo.
Ahorita va a volar.
El perro se asustó. Para que vean. Ya está, mija, el hechizo hecho para todos los que no me quieren.
Okay. I did get swiped out in the middle of that, and I don't know if you guys saw that or if it just played the video all the way through. But regardless, welcome back to me. Sorry. The dog is method acting, right? Absolutely. He's also full of a demon, so they're getting the demon out. So no worries. The dog's fine. Just had a little shit demon in him. Okay. We're going to talk about something. First thing on the agenda, I have a set list here. You know how I told you guys that everybody has a dad or a peepaw or a cousin and aunt, someone who knows the Zodiac, their grandpa's the Zodiac, my dad's the Zodiac. Everyone is like, there's always a guy who's just like, turns out I know who the Zodiac killer is. There was a guy on TikTok who was like, it's my Uncle Robert, because the guy named Robert said some shit to some kids, and my Uncle Robert was fucking weird, and he used to tap on windows, and then everyone's like, that's the guy. And all these videos come out, they get like 4 million views, like fucking that's the right Robert, because he was pretty mean and he hit his grandma. And then remember there's a lady we watched where she basically took an old man with dementia and convinced him to confess to a lot of stuff, allegedly, and also takes a lot of notes that are reminiscent of the graffiti along Guadalupe. Yeah, that lady. I ended up editing her out because I was just, the more I looked into her, I was like, no, I don't want to give her the time. I don't think, like, that was wild. I had to get you guys to do a judgment call on that one, and it was sad. But also, he did seem to do some shady shit. So in that one, it was a little bit like, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, lady, you're clearly like, this isn't going to uphold in court. You're feeding him a lot of info. So with that said, we have another one. I mean, we had that guy he wrote a book. I found a hood, So many people found black hoods with the eyes cut out. So many dads walked around with Zodiac hoods at one point or another. It's fucking wild. We have another one. Now this one, I don't think I would ever show you anything that that wasn't like, I don't want to show you content that I just know 100% is bullshit, but I'll show you stuff that might be intriguing and we can decide if it's bullshit. I like that idea. Because there's a lot of things it's like, yeah, they could be crazy, but sometimes crazy people are telling the truth. Who knows? So with that said, there's been a new, hey, guess what? This guy knows the Zodiac killer thing. All right. I'll show you where I saw this, and I just thought it was interesting, so I looked into it. I'll tell you right now what happened. What happened was I was on the internet, which is never a good idea if you're me, and the algo showed me this. The algo said, here go use some content, and I looked at it, and I went, Another, hey, I know a guy whose Puppa is the Zodiac, and I went, well, let's see if your Puppa's the Zodiac then. They're telling their truth exactly. So then I go and I start looking into it. I read it. And here's the thing. I don't mind debunking shit or going down a rabbit hole if I'm also going to learn some interesting stuff I didn't know before. Life is all about knowledge, right? When we got into the apology line, we still don't know if that guy was talking about the Henry that we intended. But the Henry that we found that we intended to do research on has now led us down this, I feel like, a fruitful wormhole where we're digging into information. And I have a very special surprise coming up for you guys on that front. But it led us down somewhere where I don't regret, because we got to learn about a lot of interesting information about this kid's case. And maybe we can actually do something good to, like, you know, put it out there and help keep his name in the fucking news, and maybe put pressure on them to solve it. Like, maybe even rustle up some tips or something. I feel like there's good that can be done with that. So regardless of whether it is the guy from the apology line, that led us into that, which was interesting. So with that said, I'm reading about this and he brings up a tip. I'm going to read it all to you, but he brings up a thing in it that he considers, just something that's like, and this could lend credibility to this claim sort of situation. And it had to do with this guy is on a ship. I'll read it to you, but it had to do with the Navy. Anyway, it led me down like a 6-hour wormhole of learning about a ship that, first of all, I had to go through naval rosters. I had to go through, and I found an interesting database I'll even show you. And it's every naval aircraft and submarine, and even though it's Air Force, technically they do work alongside the Navy. Every accident involving the Navy in history that had to do with torpedoes, fire, anything that was like ourself, like friendly fire type situation or accidents. So it's not going to be like, oh, when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, it's not going to be on there. But if a ship that is, parked in Pearl Harbor accidentally sets off a torpedo and, shit catches on fire, it's going to be in this list. Yeah, like ARCA. So there's a whole list, and it's like, here's all the fucking accidents ever in the history of the Navy. So I started reading through these. I'm like, oh my God, like, this is actually wild. Like, I have not heard of some of these. So that led me down every USS ship ever, the Forester. There's so many of them. There's one in particular, the USS Enterprise, that I narrowed this down to. Now, I ended up doing a lot of research on the USS Enterprise, and I found it very fascinating. So with that said, have I gotten anywhere with it, like debunking or looking into this? A little bit. I don't want to show you this guy's personal Facebook, but he did make this public post. But in his personal Facebook, I will say the guy who made this post goes into a little more depth on the suspect. And it's just very interesting, historically speaking. It led me into a wormhole of archived footage and data. And it got me thinking on most cold cases. That's normal, right? But the Zodiac, there's so much as far as all the different cases that are definitely attributed to him, and cases that they believe are looped in there, and the timeline and the possibilities and the references and the misspelling. There's so much, especially, don't get me started on the ciphers. Like, wow, there's just so much going on there, evidence-wise, circumstantially speaking, and physical evidence that was mailed in, that when somebody's making these connections, it's actually pretty common, it seems, for, obviously, like, if you have a family member who was in Vietnam or, in the Korean War or involved in Pearl Harbor, for somebody to have wing walkers, like, you would think, oh, well, that's not that common back then. Well, everyone in the fucking Navy had those. So it kind of is. So it makes sense for them to be a prevalent shoe around military bases. And so, I'm just saying there's a lot of people who get into the whole, I think this person's a Zodiac, but a lot of the reasons tend to be based around their military service. Because it's super common. It's like, well, there you go. This is just another one of those. With this one, it gets a little interesting because I actually learned quite a bit. I'm not going to say I'm convinced at all, but they make a weird claim that lets me wonder, like, maybe is this? Because I don't know what they mean by this. This guy also misspells a lot of stuff and seems to go on a lot of rants. But he also has a couple of funny memes on his page. So anyway, with that said, let's get started. Somebody screenshot screenshotted it without his name and posted it in Reddit. And I'm actually in that group and because of some other stuff he wrote. And I went back and I found it pretty easy. And it is public, so anybody can find it. But this is a guy, he's also like a scanners guy, the guy who posted that. He's really into like scanners and live police watch type stuff. He lives out in the desert, keeping his community safe. One of the neighbor kids spray painted titties on a wall, and then a head of a fat character with big old titties, and then it said "This you," and he took a picture and posted it in this community where he was like, this specific sub actually, where he's like, who fucking did this in our nice community? And this lady's like, oops, that was my kid. That's my bad. I'm super pissed. I want him to clean it up, but the city won't let him. And then everybody's like, you're a good parent for wanting him to clean it up and coming forward. And she's just like, yeah, he's a little shit. Spray paints titties on stuff all the time around town. So that wormhole was really funny, getting into the community consultation about graffiti and some kid that will quit spray painting titties. This you with like a big, it's like a chicken with tits. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway, this was a fun one. So I'm just going to share it with you. You know, be open-minded. Look into it if you want to. I don't know how deep I'm going to get into this anymore because I'm just kind of enjoying the community stuff. Breezy Sup Play Bree. Thank you for being a member for 9 months. But let's go ahead and read this together and we'll see what you guys think, okay? Here we go. Let me make it big. So the last year I've been working with a person who believes his grandfather is the Zodiac. The suspect was in naval aviation. We have uncovered murders starting as early as in 1960 in California. As of yesterday, a DNA match has a hit. Now that's the part I was confused about, and I will explain what he means by that in a little bit because he does answer it on his private Facebook later to a friend on his Facebook. Yeah, he's a ham radio dude for sure. Like I'm pretty sure he's like super into that. He talks about it later on in other posts. Now I don't know what kind of equipment he has now or what's going on there, but we'll get into it. I need to explore him a little more. He's fascinating. Don't have a lot of the same views as him personally, politically speaking, but he is a very funny dude. Okay. As of yesterday, a DNA match has a hit. Now, he's not saying specifically to the Zodiac, but I believe there's a DNA hit between this kid's grandfather or this dude's grandfather and a case that is believed to potentially be done by the Zodiac. That's what he says later in another post. But that's basically that. That's what he means by that. To what we don't know the full details as of yet. It's true. But this suspect was on a ship that caught fire when the San Francisco murder stopped for 5 to 6 months. What he means by that is there was a gap between December of 1968 and July of 1969. So it's actually 6 to 7 months. But that's what he means by when the murder stopped. Okay, so the guy was on a ship that caught fire when the San Fran murder stopped, which would mean between January and July, he was on the ship. Days of Zodiac's known letters coincide with the suspect's important dates to him while serving. Also owned the same typewriter. The list goes on. So far, we can place him being stateside during the murders. Not one deployment when a murder happened. Also in San Diego, Zodiac killed a sailor and his newlywed wife. I hope to bring some news on this DNA match discovery to confirm him being the Zodiac. Also, all composite sketches match the suspect as he also looks like Ross Sullivan. He matches sketch to an early 1960s murder as well. So that's it. That's his first post. Okay. Second post. Also, good morning, Laura. Good morning. So this is response to somebody else. Or somebody's response. If this guy is the Zodiac, no, this is his response to somebody else. Sorry. If this guy is the Zodiac, we suspect he was behind the missile going off on the ship as he was on the flight deck and would have had access to make it happen. Also is known he didn't want to go to Vietnam. Zodiac killed before deployment of this ship, and because it caught fire and stayed in Hawaii, Zodiac continued killing. So, with that said, here is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you because I want to talk to you about how to find out, like, how can we find out more about this? What fucking ship is he talking about? Now, I will tell you, digging real deep into his social media, he does name the ship. However, I didn't know that. I hadn't dug that deep yet. But I did immediately look at this and go, well, I know that there was that period, early 1969, where there was basically, he was waiting for a summer kill like Rex. Very fascinating, right? So I knew that. I knew that that's the window he must be talking about. And because when I went to Hawaii, the Sean's made us go on a lot of weird tours. I learned a lot about the USS ships, and my great grandpa was underneath. I don't remember which one. I think it was USS Arizona, one of the ones that got shot, and he was like an underwater welder. So I was like, okay, well, let's learn. And that's the one that, like, the oil tank just constantly leaks into the harbor now. To this day, it's still leaking. So it just sits there and you see bubbles when you fly over it. It's crazy. You can actually see it underwater. And that was actually the weirdest thing, is like just driving by over it, you see this big ship underwater and it just has a forever bubble bubbling up. And that's just oil being released into the harbor. That's crazy to think about. Anyway, so I'm very fascinated by this. So I'm like, well, let's narrow down what ship he's talking about. What ship was there a fire with a missile set off that caused this fire in that time period? I'm sure there weren't that many, right? So let me pull this up for you. And I'll tell you how I found this. Give me 1 second. You know what? While I search for this and pull up the correct thing, let's go ahead and give you guys a reminder of war.
We are filming for our own protection here.
Oh boy.
Oh, look who it is. Look who's here. Here she is.
You know what? I'm so sick of your shit.
Oh, she stole
I'm sick of your shit. Okay? Enough is enough. You're a prick.
Can I have my phone?
How's the kids? How's the kids? They must be so proud of their dad.
That's assault, Joe.
Assault?
I'm gonna need my phone back.
Fuck off, Big Bird. You're a fucking bird. You look fatter than me.
I'm gonna need my phone back.
Boom! You're a fat fuck.
I'm gonna need my phone back, Jill.
Where's your top lip?
I'm gonna need
Where's
my
your
phone back,
top
Jill.
lip? And oh, I'm sorry. Didn't you go loopy? Didn't you go crazy?
Jill, can I please have my
Shut the fuck up. No one
Jill,
else.
can I have my phone back, please?
Have his property.
Can I have my phone back, please, Jill?
Go ahead and give him his phone.
I need my phone back, Jill.
How's
Don't do that. I need my phone back. Okay. Okay, so that just happened. That just happened. That just happened.
Piece of shit. I have wrinkles. I don't care, but guess what? I have a good heart.
You have a great
You're a
heart.
prick. You're going to jail, and I cannot wait. And guess what? You're going to be without a boyfriend because this prick is going to jail.
I mean, I'll be with my boyfriend longer than you will. You're just gonna die.
Okay, don't even worry about it. She's not worried. She's. This is a try. Just let her talk. Just let her talk. Just let her talk. Just let her talk.
You're the one yelling right
Just
now.
let her talk. Don't
Guess
even
what?
talk
He's cheating
back.
on
Don't
you.
even talk back. Don't even talk back. Don't even talk back. Who are you yelling at?
Who are you? Like, look at you. How many times you got punched in the nose?
I don't know.
Your teeth, you make fun of my teeth. Yours are chicken.
No, it's mostly your skin, but okay.
My skin, I
Yeah.
have wrinkles. I don't care.
Yeah,
Guess
I mean-
what? I stick up for my family. How many siblings do you have? Has anyone stuck up for you?
A bunch.
No, they don't like you.
They don't?
like
Okay,
you.
if you say so.
You guys can all tape me. Like, why are you taping me?
I can't imagine why. I can't imagine why anyone would want to tape you. Your behavior is normal. No one's harassing anyone. I'm just trying to eat dinner.
Why are you here?
Because I'm hungry. Because they serve food in here.
Why are you here to cause trouble?
Because I want food. Because when you're hungry, you eat food.
Why don't you just leave everyone alone?
I am. I'm just trying to eat food. Because I got assaulted by Jim Farris. We're walking out. Some people asked me to take pictures, and next thing you know, Jim Farris comes up to me and assaults me. You drove up here. Look at this shit. You're double parking. Because they killed John O'Keefe. Yes, they did. They obviously killed John O'Keefe. I was not there, but Colin was. I did not kill John O'Keefe.
Are you guys coming?
Like,
So
we'll see.
He got assaulted. He got assaulted again, and his phone was.
I mean, that's why Ryan said that he didn't see John O'Keefe was not in the car or outside the car.
Thank you.
Like, that's why he testified that. So, we got that on video, right?
Yes, I.
Okay. We got. So.
You tape me all you want. I don't care.
No, we're not going to tape. I'm just going to tell the cops what happens.
I don't
Yeah,
want
keep
to
going. Keep
You're
going.
a fucking dick.
Keep going.
Go away. Why are you here?
She stole my camera out of. She drove up here, jumped out, and stole my camera. And we got it on video. We got it all on video.
Okay. So she's a fun lady. That was fun. You're fatter than me. Okay. So here's a couple of things that we know. We know that he was behind a missile going off on the ship. Now, presuming this guy's telling the truth, give him the give him reason. Give this motherfucker a chance. Let's see if he's bullshitting, okay? Benefit of the doubt. All right? You feel me? So here's what we know. We know that he didn't want to go to Vietnam, whoever this guy was. Okay? We know that he had access to a flight deck, and whatever the accident was, it could have been brought on by him. Now, does that mean intentional detonation? Does that mean negligence? We don't know. But we know that it could be his fault. We know that a missile went off on a ship, and we know a time window, right? So, with that said, what do we do next? I went ahead and I typed in naval accidents because he says in the other part that it was an accident, right? That it was considered an accident. Where is it? I want to get the exact phrase. Okay. The suspect was on a ship that caught fire with, okay, so this one just says it caught fire. So right here it says he was behind the missile going off on the ship as he was on the flight deck and would have access to make it happen. So, Zodiac killed before the deployment of the ship and because it caught fire and stayed in Hawaii. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. We know it was docked in Hawaii, right? Obviously, if he got to keep killing, they presumed it was an accident, which is, I think, where I got the idea to put an accident. But that's what I typed in. Regardless of where my headspace was, I just typed in naval accidents. And I went ahead and narrowed down a time window. One of the first 5 results that came up was this page. I clicked on the link, naval accidents 1945 to 1988. All right. Anytime there's accidents or safety or the potential for accidents, I should say, or safety. Yes, I know, Laura. The Pearl Harbor. It's where my great grandpa was stationed. Naval accidents. I just realized Laura might be a little behind. She'll figure it out in a minute. Naval accidents 1945 to 1988. So we know that the time window he had, it would have been early 1969. Okay, so the first couple of months of 1969. So there's a chronology of the naval accidents, right? And you can just go down here and you can go scroll through and you can read about all of them. But what I did was I was like, well, I just want to find out about Hawaii. So I let me put it in the right window. I hit Ctrl F or find, which you can use on, desktop, laptop. You could probably use it in your phone, I think. You click the little 3 dots in the corner. And I wish it would let you see it, but I'm typing in the word Hawaii now, and now it's going to highlight every time that word is used. So right here, the USS Stickleback. Hey, wait a minute. Nickelback? Stickleback? That's interesting. There's something there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the arrow down, which for some reason you can't see on the screen, and that sucks. But if you use the Ctrl-F feature and type in whatever the word is you're looking for, it's going to give you the option to go up and down and toggle between each time you see the word. So we're going to go down. And right here is where I notice this is where an actual list starts. Lovely. Chronology of the naval accidents. So this is 11/15/1946. So that's not going to be in our timeline. Remember, it's in the cool down period for the Zodiac was actually 6 to 7 months about. Technically 6 because it was end of December to mid-July, I believe. So now we're at 58. So that's not in there. We're looking for 1969 and Hawaii. Okay. So we're at 62. We're still going to keep going. 62. All right, right here, 64. But let's read it because this is interesting. An explosion aboard the USS Sproston in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii is caused by a short circuit during the work on an indicator light. The propellant in the rocket ignites and the magazine is flooded to prevent further damage. 3 people are extensively burned. Jesus. Now, I was just stopping and reading these because I had all the time in the world. When I tell you, I mean, look at how many pages it's just so many pages we've already gone through. It's really wild how many accidents there are aboard ships. So now we're at 67. Let's keep going. All right, the Guardfish. That's a fun name for a boat. All right, now this turned out to be a sand-filled practice bomb. There was no fire. Remember, we're also looking for a fire. So I paused here because I'm like, this is getting closer. Maybe he's off by a few months. Maybe he's talking about an earlier, smaller window. So I start reading through this. Soviet diesel-powered Golf-class ballistic missile submarine sinks about 750 miles. Now, he didn't have a submarine. That was not part of the deal. So I can already skip past that. But then look at this. Constructed Glomar Explorer deep-water salvage ship. Part of the submarine was raised in July of 1974. The submarine was carrying 3 nuclear-armed ballistic missiles, and unnamed official sources are quoted as saying the evidence also suggests nuclear-tipped torpedoes were on board. That's spooky dooky. Still not what we want, but interesting. You can learn a lot through these just by pausing and looking anyway. You can also get lost. Now, this is where I stopped and went, oh? So remember what the deal is. It's got to be something, if this guy's telling the truth, right, about his papa, this has to be something that could be due to some sort of person, a human, making it happen. Since obviously nobody, which you'll find out in a minute, was arrested or in trouble, like nobody got blamed for it, we have to assume that this person could have made it look like negligence or just simply didn't get caught doing whatever led to it or didn't get the blame, right? So we also have to remember there's a fire, and we also have to look at the date. Now, what's interesting as fuck and made me go, huh? Again, that was the wrong sound. Huh? That's the right one. Huh? Made me do the Tim Allen. January 14th, 1969. This would be almost exactly like 2 weeks after the beginning of that brief cool down. So that would give him time to deploy, get to Hawaii. And here's the thing. There was a deployment that was supposed to happen on this ship to the coast of Vietnam literally that day or the next day. It was about to go to Vietnam. And what happened on it caused it to not go to Vietnam. So this ticks all the boxes. So let's read about the USS Enterprise. All right. On January 14th, 1969, the USS, and keep in mind, if this guy's telling the truth and his papa is the Zodiac, this would mean the story we're about to read that actually did happen, this mystical potential papa Zodiac, could have been here and caused this. So really just think about that and if it's possible or plausible based on what we're reading. The USS Enterprise Seavan 65 suffers explosions and a fire during its 2.5-day operational readiness inspection. Here, let me make it bigger because I'm not the best at reading with my weak eyes because I'm a lady. Operational readiness inspection 70 miles southwest of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, killing 28 and injuring 343. That is a shitload of people to be injured. The fire starts when a tractor used to start aircraft is backed under the wing of an F-4 Phantom aircraft loaded with Zuni rockets. Now, I want to be fair here, okay? I watched quite a few interviews and read quite a few stories from people who were on that ship. One of the guys who led the ship, he was like one of the head guys, like the sergeant or something, the captain, whatever. And at the memorial thing, which you're going to see where they basically decommissioned the ship and they had a big celebration and the survivors of this gathered. And when they talked about it, a lot of them were saying it was very like everything I read was like, it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault. And the assessment was This was a preventable accident because they could have had more people with fire experience on board. But then when they did kind of like an audit, like they did Canton Police, they discovered that because of a prior fire that taught them a lot about what they needed to fix, they got a lot of fire training for the guys on board with this ship. So they actually were set up for success because something like 89 to 90% of them had the proper fire training. Whereas on the prior ships that had these kind of fires and incidents, those people had less than 10% of the crew on board with fire safety training. So this was actually a very well set up crew. They knew what to do to stop the fire. Now, here's the problem. This is why it got ruled an accident. It's because one of the guys, or a couple of the guys who were in charge of kind of figuring out what happened, like an investigation into the incident, they found that safety measures were all pretty much followed, but the torpedo was already so fucking hot. It was over the temperature it should have been at to be parked and still. And that regardless of if that truck had scraped it or backed into it, there was still a high potential for it to explode due to the heat. Now, why was it that fucking hot is another question. So I looked into that too. It seems that this could have actually been a situation where somebody didn't do the cool down procedure properly, ensuring that just that torpedo would go off. So there's one potential that we have for what could cause the accident. There's also the guy driving the truck that backs into it. Now, here's a problem with that. That would have been almost like a backing up truck, John Deere style kamikaze situation. Like if that person were trying to do that intentional, they'd have to be trying to take themselves out too. Now, if he really didn't want to go to Vietnam, he could have just thrown himself overboard. This guy seemed to want to cause destruction, survive, and not have to go to Vietnam. So in my opinion, that would probably put him, and this is just my opinion, in a position to where he could see that proper cool down measures of the torpedo were not followed, or the torpedo was not checked for a proper temperature before attempting this. Now, here's another thing. That seems to be one of the few jobs, I'm not accusing anyone, but that seems to be one of the few jobs that could have potentially been done by one person. Here's another thing. He stated that this guy was on the flight deck, right? So who's in charge of what on the flight deck? Well, it turns out both of the potential openings or inlets for somebody to cause an accident, should they want to, would have required guys who work on the flight deck to do that specific thing. So that means that kind of lines up a little bit if it were potentially caused. So with that said, people still maintain to this day who were on that ship that that rocket would have gone off anyway. It was too hot. Now, I couldn't find anyone that really questions why it was that way or if that was normal, but apparently there was a job on that deck where you had to see that these rockets, these torpedoes that are attached are cooled down enough before you do anything with them, especially move them, park them, back into them, to check them. If you're going to put gas into the plane, you have to be careful if you're around them. Apparently, this was like a well-known thing, but there were only one or two people in charge of checking them for each individual plane. So with that said, let's move forward and keep reading. The fire starts when a tractor used to start the aircraft is backed under the wing of F-4 Phantom aircraft loaded with Zuni rockets. The tractor, and I said torpedo, I meant rockets. The tractor has a small jet engine mounted on its rear, the hot exhaust of which is put directly under the Zuni rocket's warhead. So hot engine touching warhead, bad. Now, the problem is the warhead was already heated. In about a minute, the warhead cooks off, spraying shrapnel all over the flight deck, puncturing tanks and starting fires. The fires caused other Zuni rockets and 500-pound bombs loaded on planes and piled on deck to cook off, exploding planes, blowing holes in the solid steel deck, and spilling aviation fuel from punctured fuel storage tanks. kind of like there was that puncture in the USS Arizona. Interesting. The captain of the ship recalls his concern over containing the fire to the aft part of the flight deck, since so little firefighting equipment was on the flight deck, commenting, if the fire had spread to the hangar deck, we would have very easily lost the ship. Despite the lack of equipment, the fire is successfully contained and after 3 hours burns itself out, whereupon the ship proceeds back to Pearl Harbor. Damage includes 15 aircraft destroyed and 17 damage. Wow. So it's at 32 aircraft, right? So you have 32 aircraft damaged, half a ship destroyed, okay? You've got 28 people dead and 343 injured. And there is shrapnel going all over the place. Now, it turns out this was one of the years where they mounted cameras on these ships. This was one of the ships chosen to get some of the first cameras on these specific aircraft carrier ships. And there is footage of all of this going down. Oddly, there's also footage of a guy who looks exactly like Ross Sullivan walking and carrying someone who seems to be totally fine. And he's carrying someone in a gurney type of situation. So, with that said, this seems to all kind of line up potentially with, this could maybe this seems like the situation he's talking about. So after I see that, now I'm like, okay, I'll go look into this guy's profile more and see if he talks about it more. And sure as shit, you go through all of his posts, and eventually you're going to find one where he says USS Enterprise. And it's like, well, goddamn, I could have saved myself a whole lot of research, but I'm glad I didn't, because I learned a lot about warships. And it was very fascinating. And since we're going to war, maybe I can be an asset. Anyway, I thought that was very interesting. So I got a little nosy and I'm like, I wonder if we can narrow down who the fuck this guy is. Now, obviously, if I do narrow it down, I'm not going to fucking dox his name or anything like that. But I did find something kind of cool. And, I just thought it was an interesting database resource. So I am going to share that with you. One of the things I did was I'm obviously like, let's go look up the crew lists, or what they call them, the musters. I don't remember what the word is, the muster rolls. Let's go ahead and see if we can find a crew list for the USS Enterprise, preferably with pictures. So, I start looking into that. And what do I type in? I type in Navy crew list USS Enterprise 1969. Very basic, and this is what I find. It is a site called navysite.de. It's the USS Enterprise CVN 65 crew list right here, but you can go click through 64 to 65, 66, 67, 68. We want 1969. So we go there, and it's not only a list of a bunch of survivors, but each one gets to put in a little blurb about their experience, remarks, the photo, what division they were in, what period they were in, period, their rank. And then you get their names and you can learn about them. Thought that was cool. Not saying I doubt that he would even put himself on here if he wanted to be on the low, but I did find the stories very fascinating. And I like seeing them reminisce about their buddies. But it was sad seeing some of these. We'll never forget the big fire I was put on hose nozzle duty. Was on the fantail all day. It was a really long day. This one and another one about the hose caught me. I'm like, why do they keep mentioning the hose nozzles? So I started doing research on that. I'm like, what happened with, for every ship, but also USS Enterprise specifically has it split up by year. I believe all the other ships, it's like wherever they're commissioned, they split it up by year of deployment, which is very interesting. You can totally look up your dad. Here, I'll do this. If it was Navy, I believe you can just look here. I'll put a link for anybody. There you go. And it's free, so it's like you don't have to join like some ancestry shit or anything like that. Muster rolls, that's what they're called. So, let's take ourselves out of we're looking for the potential Zodiac guy, and let's just kind of reminisce in this. Let's just marinate a little bit. This is very interesting. First cruise, first fire, learn fast. Don't see many VF-92 guys here. Where are all the old nukes? Like, looking for Mike. So I'm going through and I'm like, I was a nuke I was a nuke in number 4 engine room. Now we know who was in the engine room. It was Chris. I fixed all the teletype machines on the Big E. They call it the Big E, which, you know, I love wrestling. Big E's a great wrestler. Enterprise nickname Big E. It all comes together. Time is a flat circle. Met her at Alameda. This is actually really funny. When they're talking about the ship, a lot of them will talk like it's a date. And they just, you know what I mean? They just totally 100% are talking like they're dating a girl. And I think it's very funny because it's their ship. Anyway, so I'm going through this, and some of them mentioned going to Nam, right? Well, we know that the Zodiac didn't eventually get deployed to Nam. He got out of it, didn't have to serve. So we can pretty much tick all of them off. Now, we're not going to go whittle it down here because we don't even know if this guy's here. A lot of this is voluntary information, but I was still curious, what the fuck is up with the hose nozzles? Not allowed to view page? Okay, I'll put the whole one, and then you could work backwards because I was trying to save you some and let you just go look at some of the others here. If you can copy paste that, or I would just do navysite.de and see what pops up. Let me know if that works. So I'm like, why do people keep mentioning these hose nozzles? So I look it up, and I found out that on this ship, even though this was like the first time, damn near everybody had their fireman's clearance, damn near everybody had their training, for some reason, it still went south. Well, what happened? Turns out the shrapnel and the heat and the fires was so hot, it burned the fire hoses. So this was really like not just an error that could have been worked around or overlooked. It turned out like even if they were all perfect firemen, they had no hoses. They were burned. They were melted. So there was another small ship of sailors that happened to be in the area close to them, saw the fire breaking out, and these sailors who had absolutely no fire training, their job was to sit on top, literally their bodies on top of these missile launchers, and just protect them as they cruise through the sea and like try to figure out, where to go and how to get this specific. Everything I was reading about this is it was all about radio waves trying to like pick up shit from the enemy. They were headed in a direction to Vietnam at the time. They see this ship and they're like, oh my God, these guys are on fire. What do we do? These guys with no less than 10% of them had any fire training, fire safety training, how to put out fires, no firemen on board. They decide, you know what we can do? We can keep putting the weight on these. They had a thing where they had to put weight on these missiles. They had to like be ready at all moments. So they couldn't really leave their post. But they're like, we want to take our hoses since there's one melted and those people are dying. And we want to put the fire out for them. So they pulled their ship up alongside it. They point the hoses up. It's not quite reaching the ship. So what they do is these guys who are on top, who are supposed to be on top of the missiles, they're like, slide it up to us. They climb up there, give them the hoses. And those guys from the top are just spraying the water onto the ship deck. And they are putting out the fire for them. So these sailors who had no fire experience just pull up and they're like, check this out. And they climb up and they just fucking hose the fire and help these trained naval sailors who were stuck with no hoses. Fascinating shit. Anyway, with that said, let's do a little more deep dive because I immediately started looking into, is there footage? Now, there is quite a bit of amazing footage. It's from the Smithsonian Channel, so I will get copyright struck. So what I decided to do, and yes, it is some Final Destination shit for sure. It was crazy. So what I did was I found a cool news story about it where people they're like decommissioning the ship and there's survivors from that fire. And again, my neck. I wasn't doing this to be like, let's see if one of these guys is Zodiac. At this point, I'm just fully engulfed, no pun intended, in this story. Like, what the fuck? This is crazy. They ended up docking the ship and repairing it and didn't go to Vietnam. So if Zodiac had anything to do with it, if that guy, let's still pretend for a second, maybe that guy's telling the truth. God damn, that's a hell of a way to get out of service. And that's how you loop back around to our callback, which is, what would you do to get out of service? Now, again, they're maintaining accident. that's not entirely preventable, but it still could have been preventable, I think, based on some of the shit that I was reading from potential Whoop We Should Have Known. And also, you have to understand, if someone intentionally did this and then was trying to cover it up, I would imagine this would be a hell of a way. So let's just say that maybe he didn't cool down the missile. Maybe he was the guy who backed into them and was like, fuck it, I'm not going. Take me out too. Take me out tonight. Maybe he didn't warn the guy. Maybe because there's a guy who's supposed to do this and give the signal. Did he not give the signal? Did he give it too soon? And he just happened to get away with it. They just happened to not catch him. Let's say he's one of those people. Well, that would mean that this guy blew up a beloved ship, the Big E, and did all this shit just to get out of Vietnam. He created his own on-deck Vietnam. That one, and I mean this pun, literally misfired. It backfired on him. Even. That's crazy. So, if this is true, that's what this guy would do to get out. What would you do to avoid service? Don't forget, call in the Obology line and tell me, would you allow a ship to get tanked by a rocket because you don't want to go to Vietnam? I'm getting stuffy again. You were told a lot of shit when you were young, so you probably heard some crazy stories. You like that history? I was sucked in. I was like, how did they fuck this up? And then as I'm going through, I'm like, they didn't fuck it up. They got a hose with water going through it, but it's all burnt. That's a terrible situation to be in. Terrible situation to be in. The colonels would go to sleep right at dusk and wake up in the middle of the night and do things and then get up at dawn and sleep like a siesta midday. I sleep like a colonel, I guess. Sounds just like me. Damn. Chamber pots? A succulent Chinese meal? I'm sorry. So anyways, let's watch this because this is fascinating. And this is all about the USS Enterprise. If this guy is telling the truth and not fucking with us, if he's not jerking our fucking wad, then who knows? Maybe he was at the ceremony. Who knows? Here we go. Happy Banner Day, everyone. We are at war.
So many stories and so many heroes among the veterans attending the USS
Enterprise. Pause, Mary B. Hold on. Was your grandpa wearing Korean War bell bottoms? We didn't even consider that. We were thinking later hosen or jorts for this war, or jorts and hosen. Bell bottoms. That is a hell of a war uniform. Should we go back to bell bottoms? Should we? This channel is your Vietnam. Fuck Roman Empire. This is your Vietnam. That was your uniform. Hold on. They had bell bottoms in Vietnam. Oh, or Korean War, right? Dude. I need to see some Korean War bell bottoms. Also, tell your grandpa, thank you for your service, sir. Can I see your bell bottoms? What, dude? That kind of fucking rules.
Enterprise and activation ceremony will be crew members from the 1969 fire. Now, together, they survived a fire that nearly sank the ship, and 5 of them sat down with investigator Mike Mather to share their story.
When the Enterprise was built a half-century ago, it was the world's mightiest warship. Powered by nuclear reactors and crewed by youngsters, it was the pride of the modern Navy. And to many who have returned this weekend for her farewell, it was, in every sense, a home.
Send my heart to the day I die.
A home they nearly lost. One day in January 1969.
Disaster.
These are the men who saved the Enterprise in her darkest hour.
Without us, that ship would not be sitting there now.
They are the fire survivors.
So you're on your way to bed?
Well, I rolled in.
Close your eyes?
No. Got blown out of my bunk.
Hot exhaust from a machine on the deck detonated a jet's missile.
I heard a big explosion. I was on a ladder, turned aft, and there was the ball of fire.
Jet fuel had run down into compartments. You could hear men screaming to death down there.
And I can see missiles shooting across the flight deck out in front of the ship.
I seen bodies disintegrate in front of me.
Then hot bullets started shooting. Shrapnel raked the sailors.
As I was climbing up the ladders, there were all these flight deck personnel were running in, screaming and yelling and all bloody and wet.
I had to make my way down to the flight deck, and when I went through the island, there was bodies there.
The fuel-fed inferno grew and cooked the 500-pound bombs strapped to the burning jets. One by one, the bombs exploded.
When the bombs went off, the flight deck just shook. You could feel it, like a tremor.
Deck cameras captured it all, but without the sound of the...
Isn't that crazy? The deck cameras that they set up caught all of that. And it's so wild because this is actually, the footage they're showing is a little sped up. But this right here, where is it? This was in a picture gallery I saw. So remember how I told you there was those sailors that pulled up and they're like, yo, you guys need help? And then they pull their hoses out and they fucking wet the fire. So apparently they were nearby and they were taking pictures of it. Now, I questioned this picture when it was in that gallery I saw, and I was like, really? That looks real fucking bad. I thought that was like straight up Pearl Harbor or something. But yeah, the pictures of the fire that were available from both the seamen, don't clip it, and from the flight deck cameras were insane. Like yeah, they're mostly black and white. They're all black and white. There's some of them that kind of have that sepia tint, but it's still, you can see everybody. You'll see in a minute. You'll see some. I think this is the video that has the footage. I hope it's not the Smithsonian one, but if it is, I'll put a link below. You see these guys, like the expressions on their faces after the fire is over as they're cleaning up and helping. And it's really fucking wild because it's like those cameras withstood a lot of heat. Like this is nuke tips like that. I mean, the explosions were insane. This is like 9/11 level heat, like literal jet engine gas. It's really wild.
Started shooting.
What I'm saying is strong cameras. Do you see that? That is all the shrapnel from one. Now imagine as soon as that's done, another one goes off, then another one goes off, then another one goes off. What do you do? Holy shit.
And hot bullets started shooting. Shrapnel raked the sailors.
As I was climbing up the ladders, there were all these flight deck personnel were running in, screaming and yelling and all bloody and wet.
I had to make my way down to the flight deck, and when I went through the island, there was bodies there.
And yelling up the ladders.
Shooting.
Like this is some Fahrenheit shit. Like this is really that is so much, and that's from one. That's from one. And if you go see the way that they're running, so I looked up where the flight deck cameras were, and they're on the tip, the nose of the ship. They're on each tip, and then there's one up top, and then there's two on the sides. So what you're seeing is you're seeing them running. If they get right up close to the camera, they are right at the edge of the ship. So they have nowhere to go. So when your grandpa is sitting there yelling about his pudding and screaming about politics and saying shit like, you know, you fucking kids, you don't know how good you have it. Like, just remember, if he was in shit like this, like, that's probably why. This is why I don't give really old people a hard time if they've been in war. It's like, oh, you were in war? Okay, never mind. No, we don't have to talk about Obama. Like, just fine. Okay. There's too much fire that rained down on you. I don't think it's, you know, I just don't think we need to have that fight because you've been through a lot, people. You know what I mean? This is why ships are bad. This is why I don't go to war, and this is why I don't get on ships. And no one wants old sperm? What are you guys talking about? I'm talking about naval ships blowing up.
Shrapnel raked the sailors.
As I was climbing up the ladders, there were all these flight deck personnel were running in, screaming and yelling and all bloody and wet.
I had to make my way down to the flight deck, and when I went through the island, there was bodies there.
The fuel-fed inferno grew and cooked the 500-pound bombs strapped to the burning jets. One by one, the bombs exploded.
When the bombs went off, the flight deck just shook. You could feel it, like a tremor.
Deck cameras captured it all, but without the sound of the ship shaking.
Well, the good news is, Mia, Marines don't die. And if they do, it's like rare because they're fucking made of steel. They are made out of the shit that doesn't melt. They're also not likely going to be on ships. They're going to be jumping out of fucking helis, dude. I don't know. All the Marine dudes that I know are hard as fucking nuts. Like, and yeah, they're changed, but they jump out of planes, you know, and they're probably the least likely statistically, like Laura said, statistically, least likely to be killed in all of the military, right? I mean, you're gonna be fine.
Explosions.
Or I should say they're gonna be. We have to think the best, right?
As the fire grew and the bombs blasted, it became clear that the mighty Enterprise was in peril.
You got 2.5-inch steel was just ripped apart like it was paper.
I thought we were finished.
In a cruel blow, the explosions, the fire, and the shrapnel cut many of the firefighting hoses.
The fire wasn't going out, it was escalating.
Other Navy ships pulled alongside where sailors tried to do something they weren't trained to do. They straddled the big guns while holding fire hoses and arced water onto the much taller carrier.
That guy saved our bacon, that's for sure. Because we did not have the capacity to put those flames out alone.
The sailors saved the Enterprise. Barely. The official told us 28.
So this was the one. I knew that there was one color video, but I thought it was in the Smithsonian one. I'm glad they show it here. So this is the guy that I said kind of looked like Ross Sullivan. No offense. Sorry to that guy. This guy is doing a jig. Is that Hank Brennan? I'm sorry. He's doing a little dance. This is, you know, this is uncomfortable to look at, but yeah, this is very interesting because, right, this is the aftermath of it. Everything looks okay over here, right? So in this picture, the black and white one, even, you can see more of the back, and this is actually the opposite end of the ship. That's how they got people off, because the other end was blown the fuck up. And those sailors that they showed earlier in the line, I'll come back to where we were, 244. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Do you see how they're up top in their spray? They're stopping the fire from a side boat, these sailors, because all these hoses that were down here were burnt to shit. They had no pressure whatsoever. Very fascinating. Oh, hey, Casey. Hello, Blues. Hello, Casey. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Much love, much love. We're learning about war.
While holding fire hoses and arced water onto the much taller carrier.
That guy saved our bacon, that's for sure. Because we did not have the capacity to put those flames out alone.
The sailors saved the Enterprise. Barely. The official told us 28 sailors dead, although these men say the real count was in the hundreds. For years, many of the fire survivors kept the horrors of what happened deep inside. And like the fire itself, it consumed them. Alex Vinkoff says he drank too much. Counselors encouraged him to open up.
It's hard for me to sit here and do this, but I need to do it.
And over the years, they found the perfect people to listen, each other. The fire survivors reunite regularly to talk about the good times and the bad with the only men who truly understand.
Sitting in front of you is not easy. I'm getting better, but I'll never heal.
As awful as it was, the fire forged bonds that have lasted a lifetime.
The team together, the brothers. I mean, you're tighter than family. Any one of us in trouble, we're there for each other.
These men say they've had other Navy assignments, served on other ships, but nothing gave them the feeling of family they had on the Enterprise. And now it is time to say goodbye. They are together once again to bid farewell to a ship that made them the men they are.
Is it hard to let it go?
It is. Yeah, it's sad for me.
You go to a funeral to celebrate life, really. So I'm coming here to celebrate the life of the Enterprise.
Hey, did you recognize his name? He's in that chart we just looked at. Wayne Tibbs, he's the guy who started the chart, if I recall correctly. Isn't that cool? His little story was on there. His name's on there. He talks about when he serves. His name pops up and it's like, oh, Mr. Tibbs, we just saw you, Mr. Wayne Tibbs. And that's the shit that makes me go, wow, this is pretty cool. I like Wayne. In fact, I believe he worked at the sheriff's office in Bessemer. I believe that's one of the things that he states. Actually, I'm going to let this play and then I'm going to show you because I just think it's so fascinating. And this was years later after that website was started. So it's kind of cool to put a face to a name. I'm very fascinated by these stories. I told you guys, we must respect the elderly. They have the best stories. Sometimes they're sad, but you do learn a lot. They're very fascinating. They've lived long, wonderful lives, and sometimes it's filled with horror and awfulness, but they got to get it out, you know? So let them tell you. And then, like, maybe they'll feel a little better.
So I'm coming here to celebrate the life of the Enterprise and put her to rest also.
The only thing I could say, I could salute it and say rest in peace. I enjoyed my duty with you.
No, don't cry. I hate it when you cry. Now I'm going to cry. Oh, we love you, dude. Oh.
Now, these veterans, a lot of them want the ship to be saved as a museum, but the Navy says that would just be too expensive. The Enterprise will be towed and then scrapped. Now, the veterans are divided about what to do with the name Enterprise. There have been 8 ships named Enterprise. Some say that legacy should continue, but others say this is just too tough an act to follow. They should let the name rest in peace as well.
Kind of like...
Dude, and then Big E the wrestler took the name. But also, damn, I feel bad. Don't scrap the ship. Just go dock it next to... Let's go dock it next to the Arizona, dude. I mean, yeah, that sank, but it's... Put it in there. Put it back in the Hobbit. Yeah, that was the upsetting part, man. Suck it up, Buttercup. Jesus Christ, Kate Hubs. Ugh. Okay. Let's stop that screen. Pop me back in. All right, now check this out. Mr. Tibbs, here we go. I'm going to show you this. Remember I told you, hey, look. Hey, remember that name? You guys recognize that? That's because, bada boom, right here, dude. Look, there's Wayne. We just saw him on the TV. Wayne Tibbs. And look right here. Station, Barbers, Port Naz, 1967, flew aboard early. 1968, 3 cruises to Nam. He did 3 trips to Nam, discharged at Newport News while in dry dock, November 1970, working as deputy sheriff in Birmingham, Alabama, 31 years. And we just saw him, and it said Birmingham. So this is our Mr. Wayne Tibbs. Thank you for your service, Mr. Tibbs. Thank you for your service, sir. Okay, let's get back to the scheduled programming. And I'm going to put on your next video. Okay? Let's put on your next video. Because we got more. So what are we about to look at next? Okay? So let me explain before I put it up. Okay. I don't want to put up the entire body cam footage of this and the cop cam footage of this because it's very, very long. The person that is in it, I'll just tell you what it is. Basically, the Uber driver or the DoorDash driver for Kohberger. I'm sure some of you guys who follow that case, the Idaho 4 case, DoorDash driver got busted with a Dewey, with a Wee. An OUI, a DUI, DWI, whatever you want to call it, for driving under the influence. Now, the issue was she takes pain medication or something. Seems to be having a hard time. Anyway, it's a long one. She goes into a lot of personal medical issues. I don't feel comfortable putting the whole thing out because of that. Just feels very, like, invasive. I know a lot of other creators are. I'm not trying to shame them or anything, but, like, yeah, the part where she talks about being part of the Bryan Kohberger, a witness, yeah, that's important. I get that. But like the whole part where she's going into all of her medical problems in her life and, you know, personal shit that she's going through, like, I don't think that that's very, like, we don't need to see all that. It's probably very embarrassing for her. I totally think she's believable. She sounds like she's very upset, in my opinion. Also, yeah, she was drinking. Now, here's the thing. When she was door dashing, you know, we have to presume she was sober. She does talk about she's had a lot of surgeries and stuff. She's got a lot of PTSD, a lot of the stuff that she talks about, which we're not going to go into, is her private stuff. It's like, yeah, you probably are on some kind of medication. Yeah, but she was prescribed, Angela, you know? The problem is that medication is the kind you're not supposed to operate heavy machinery on. You know, the women who were killed by Rex Heuermann, some of them were on drugs. If they survived, I would still trust them. You know, if they gave me their witness testimony because they survived that, I'm not going to be like, you were on drugs. Sometimes people are drunk or on drugs. Karen was drunk. We believe her, right? So we got to give people the benefit of the doubt, unless, you know, they're constantly putting out fake stories and lying and trying to be a part of it. Now, here's the thing. She is the DoorDash driver. She was there. They already talked to her. So they've confirmed this is her. So she's confirmed there at that time. It's very interesting that she feels very tormented and she feels very sad. And it's almost like what I got from it is she's upset because she's got this trial she has to testify for, apparently, or that she's a witness to. And it's either fucked her up, you know, maybe it led to some of the issues that put her there that day, or, you know, potentially, it could be a situation where perhaps, you know, it's essentially a thing where she's, fuck, I don't want to fuck up this trial. Like, I don't want she might be worried, you know, I'm the only witness who saw him there, and now I'm getting busted for this. If I can't testify because of this, is a murderer going to get off? That's a lot. That's a lot to have on your shoulders to feel responsible for. Felt like a lot of guilt to me. So in order to play this for you, I would have to like either play you the whole thing, but you also got to be careful because some of the versions that are out there are just, they're super invasive to me. So I went through and I started looking like, what's one where I'm not going to get copyright struck, but I can show you the pertinent parts. It's well put together. Now, some of you guys might not like this, but listen, it's not like it's fucking court TV. So let's all chill. But of course, the law and crime, you know, they got good hair sometimes. Sometimes it can be a little much to listen to, but it's Jesse Weber. I like him. And they edited it well to where it's not showing the invasive shit. But she says that, Angela, you're right. It could make her less credible. So I think that's what that guilt is. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's why I feel like she feels guilty. Like she fucked up a whole case because of what you said. It's going to make her less credible. She does more in that, vocalize that and talk about that. So the parts that are pertinent to Bryan in the case seem to be included in this Jesse Weber sidebar. Whereas in all the others, you got to watch the whole fucking thing. And it's just a lot. So I'm going to pop this on. And for those of you who didn't know, this is apparently the DoorDash driver. Okay? For the Bryan Kohberger case. So check this out.
And you have to testify in which murder case?
Did we just find out about a major witness planning to testify in Bryan Kohberger's upcoming murder trial? Through body cam footage from an unrelated DUI stop 2 years after the killings of those 4 college students, people online and reporting indicates this woman, a potential delivery driver, may have seen Bryan Kohberger at the crime scene. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Just after 4 a.m. on November 13th, 2022, a quiet off-campus house near the University of Idaho would become the scene of a gruesome crime that would be talked about and covered across the world. 4 students, Ethan Chapin, Xander Kernodle, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves, were brutally stabbed to death in their beds. The attack just sent shockwaves throughout the small town of Moscow, Idaho, and it quickly became a national and worldwide obsession. Police quickly zeroed in on who could have done this. And within weeks, they got a suspect. They got an arrest. Bryan Kohberger, a now 30-year-old PhD criminology student at nearby Washington State University. And with attorneys now preparing to head to trial, it's just around the corner in August, a supposed mountain of damning evidence lies in front of them. You have a K-bar knife sheath with Kohberger's DNA apparently on it, cell phone pings placing him near the scene, surveillance footage of a white Hyundai Elantra matching his car. Also, there's been a report of a surviving roommate who might have positively ID'd him in the house. But now, there is one question that remains, one that could potentially turn this case completely.
Okay, this is a great question. Yes, she was referenced in the witness list, in the list of evidence, in the what do you call it, the bail doc, the application at the beginning, where it has a list of literally all the people that they talked to and interviewed. So we knew there was a DoorDash driver. We know that they disclosed to the media and in the courts that they have contacted the DoorDash driver when the investigation happened early on, actually, like very, very quickly, like within a few days, they actually admitted, like, you know, we've already spoken to the DoorDash driver, because people on like 4chan and Reddit and pretty much all of the internet, including, of course, the conspiracy theory channels on YouTube, were all just going fucking nuts. Like, it was Jack, it was this person, it was this person. And people were blaming, like, well, we need to check out that fucking DoorDash driver, a lot of people were saying. So they put it out there very early, like, we've already talked to them, and they didn't specify if it was a male or female. We never knew that. I don't even think they gave initials in the documents. I'll have to check. But what I found interesting is that the timing, when the car comes, Bryan's car, remember the white car? When you see it pull up and the DoorDash driver is leaving, they always said right as they were leaving, and that the timing was so much so that possibly they could have passed each other, or maybe even he had to wait for the DoorDash driver. Like, literally as soon as it left, he shows up. So it's interesting that she says she saw him, and I believe she says that she parked near him, which shows that he could potentially be that car that pulled up and then parked and waited. So she could have done that and then got out of the car and made eye contact. She could have driven by him and seen him, but also been parked like by near him, maybe not exactly next to him. I believe she says it. I don't know if she says near or next to. I think she says next to. There are things that she says that are implied by a lot of the documents that we're seeing out of the court, but didn't know her name, didn't know her identity, didn't know what happened to her, like that she had seen him and could identify him. And the way that she makes it sound is she saw Bryan Kohberger. She says that. So that is a witness putting his face at the crime scene, which, I mean, they wouldn't have a case against him if they didn't have fantastic evidence. And people seem to forget that, like, the motions and all the records that are unsealed, especially the early ones, they don't have to include everything. They just include what they need for the search warrant. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out that we look at and go, you know, is that all they have? Then we're going to find out when the trial happens, hopefully. And there's a very great chance that it could be a lot more. Some of the alleged leaks, I was actually talking with Turbo about this because I'm starting to wonder if there were leaks, because there's quite a few interviews given up prior to the Dateline that aired, where one could imply some of the most important links. Like, for example, that chair, when it was carried out, you could see through the bag. It definitely looked like there was blood on it and possibly an aspirin. Is that something that was implied by Dateline, or is that something that was actually leaked to them, is a question I would have. But as you go through them, you realize the ring footage that they had, that's not a leak. That's the neighbor's ring foot. You can actually see which house has it, whose ring camera it is. Like, they clearly got it from that person. The Asian girl that had a crush on Bryan, and then he ended up sneaking in with the cameras and doing her. That story's been around forever. That was very easily identifiable, and some people have named her on some forums way before the Dateline. The fella that they have, the author who sucks, whose book I listened to and it was just terrible. That guy, a lot of the stuff that's in there is in his book. The girls that started the club, or not the club, it's like a group, and they're like, Bryan annoys the shit out of us. We can't stand him. He's not a good professor and he's mean to women. Like, apparently that had been around for quite a while. I didn't know that myself, and I went back and found old posts and was like, well, this was public. So it's just fascinating. Like, really the only, and even Steve Gonsalves said on an Ashley Banfield that we watched prior to that Dateline that Kaylee was beaten about the face. So a lot of the things that they're saying, hey, what's going on here? These are all leaks. I'm going, every single one of these seems to have been released at one point or another, either by the public or by the media or by the people who it's from. So now I'm starting to wonder, are there any leaks? Like, what are these leaks? Because I went back and watched the Dateline again and again, and I'm like, wait, what's so bad here? Is it just like a misunderstanding where the judge doesn't know that all of this stuff came from separate points prior to the Dateline? The only thing that me and Turbo could come up with that was really a legitimate link were the screenshots from his phone. And I started wondering, is that something he sent a girl that they sent to Dateline? Because the people who would actually have that would be his parents. So why are we blaming law enforcement necessarily? Because the only other people who would have access to that would be his dad. And that reporter wrote the book from the perspective of his dad and claims to know his dad really well. And that reporter was featured in the Dateline. That's all I'm saying. Or allegedly it was Coffindoffer. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to let this play a little bit more. Let's go forward to the actual substance, the gabagool. Okay. And see, here we go. Right here.
22 King Road that night in Moscow, Idaho. It was reported that she had received a food delivery about 10 minutes before the killing, so right after 4 a.m. Now, why is this coming out? Well, it turns out there is a police body cam video that has been posted to the YouTube account Officer Axon. They apparently publish police videos through public records requests. And this is reportedly from September 2024, so you're talking about 2 years later, out in Pullman, Washington. Again, Kohberger was a PhD student studying criminology at Washington State University in Pullman. And this interaction with police centers around an alleged DUI stop. So it's not related to the killings. However, the woman in this video says in an interview room, as she's covered by a blanket, the following.
And
So yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah.
you have to testify in which murder
Murder case with college girl.
Oh.
My DoorDash driver, I suffer.
Now, in case you couldn't hear what she says, she apparently says, I have to testify in a big murder case here because I'm the DoorDash driver. So yeah. And the officer asks, which case? She responds, the murder case with the college girls. I'm the DoorDash driver. I saw Bryan there. I parked right next to him. Wow. I know. So people online, they were quick to make the purported connection here, right? The question, of course, is this true? Is she credible? If she testifies, what does this mean? What did she see? Hey, everybody, this is a lawn crime legal alert. Did you know that children are being diagnosed with serious conditions like type 2 diabetes and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease? And the research...
Well, maybe the kids need to be alcoholics and then they will not get fat livers. Also, did you know that your hair doesn't move, Jesse Weber? And also, if Megan's bullying you guys, call Morgan and Morgan.
Pulled over for DUI, it's not unusual to say strange things and bizarre things. So, maybe this is just someone, trying to impress the police officer when they got pulled over. Or maybe, in fact, this person is a potential witness in this case. If she is a potential witness and she testifies to what she observed, it's certainly a bombshell in this case. And it puts Bryan Kohberger right at the murder scene when this happened.
Obviously, you're right. I mean, you're obviously right. She could be making this up. It's obviously a massive case in that area. Maybe it was a way, I don't know, to get out of trouble. Sure, 100%. I totally hear you. Having said that, let's assume for the moment she is an actual.
Now, this is the part where I'm going to have to disagree with Jesse Weber, and let me tell you why. And I really wish he wouldn't have said that, because what he just did was do a what if. And here's the thing. There is no what if, because we actually know that that's not the case. Why do we know that's not the case? That she didn't make the deal to testify and say it was Bryan to get out of charges, because she has a fucking record and you can look it up and you can see it. It's not that bad. She had like a couple of technical deweys on account of doing deweys, she was doing really great. And then it seems that a lot of her troubles seem to begin after her alleged situation where she saw Bryan, which is why I'm like, maybe that fucking traumatized her too, knowing what happened and how close she was. But here's the thing. Those charges are still there. They're not gone. Typically, if there is some sort of a deal made, they will not even show up, because it's literally like, bye. You will see the arrest maybe, but you could see there's future case dates. Like she didn't make a deal. So we should be really careful with tossing out maybe this could happen when it absolutely didn't happen. Just a thought, since they're actual journalists on the TV. Might be something good to do, especially when you have like a whole crew of people who fact check shit. Simple, just anyway.
Well, witness in this case for the prosecution. First question I have is credibility. If she testifies, could this video be used against her?
Well, that's an interesting question, because normally when you're going to impeach a witness, that witness has to have something in their background that would indicate some propensity for falsehood, crimen falsi. Did in fact they perjure themselves in the past? Did they forge bad checks? Did they steal or take from others? So that idea that she had a DUI is not really necessarily an impeachable offense. And certainly if she says on the witness stand exactly what she said when she was pulled over by the police, then again, she's not contradicting herself. So, the idea that she could be impeached by this may be a long shot.
Well, again, so if she had, these are an alleged DUI stop, you're seeing her behavior, right? So she could be telling the truth, but you also see her behavior. And arguably, there is evidence of intoxication, something going on there. That can't be used to, say, hey, what exactly did you witness? Do you have the most reliable account? Are you the most reliable narrator? So if she does have an alleged substance abuse problem, and if she is a potential witness, that can't be used?
Well, you could explore that idea of a substance abuse problem, but what?
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to play dumb. She's making the crazy eyes a little bit. She's doing that like a lot of weird eyes. This can typically be from pills, getting a little perked, getting a little perk angled. You know what I mean? Getting yourself in a mental ankle lock. You have to be careful. She could also be having a serious reaction to anxiety. She keeps repeating And that's another thing. I feel horrible for her because when they pull her over, when I tell you she throws a Sweet 16 MTV's My Sweet 16 style fit and makes a huge deal out of what could have been a simple, like, get in the tank, chill out, Deborah, whatever it is, whatever her fucking name is. The point is, you know, she makes a huge deal out of it, but she's definitely having a full-blown panic attack, like a full-blown anxiety attack. Like, she can't breathe. She's hyper. She's me when I saw Montgomery Flea Market Man, okay? She's having a moment, okay? Also, do not be tricked because Grant will give you a wrench, and then the second you try to express your First Amendment rights to him, he will unwrench you. I did. He was teaching me about Islamic feminism. And I told him I was classically trained in Islamic feminism. And then he mansplained to me not to be submissive. And then silenced me. God bless him. He did say he's too disabled for war, so we can't count on him to do shit. Yeah, she's definitely on the shit. She's making a lot of Requiem for a Dream faces. You know what I mean? She's making a lot of ACL Day 3 faces, if you get me. Okay? So she's definitely twisted teed, okay? She is twisted teed as well. You were wrenched. What happened? I'll fucking wrench you, bitch. I'll wrench you. You better look out. You're going to get wrenched so hard. All right. Let's let her twist out on the tees. Be nice. Be kind. Don't kill her buzz. Let's just see what she says.
But what I would do is I would say, hey, you know, you're a DoorDash delivery person. You drive a vehicle to make those deliveries. And, you know, have you ever driven under the influence? Well, you know, see what her response is. Were you driving under the influence that day? Well, I would never drive under the influence when I'm working. Well, then you might be able to get to that point. But the question again, Jesse, is if she testifies consistently with what she said when she was in the vehicle that night, you know, is that video helpful or is it unhelpful? I mean, you know, she's saying the same exact thing.
Yeah, no, that's true. And it makes me wonder, let's say she does testify. Okay, let's say she is a key witness in this case. What did she see? What did she see? I mean, that idea of being at the house, for her to say the DoorDash, when we believe there was evidence of a delivery, so this is somebody who knew about the case, right? Either she's making it up or if she's telling the truth, she is that driver. What did she see about, she saw Kohberger?
Yeah, I mean that is huge in terms of testimony in this case, you know, and IDing him at the crime scene. The other issue that I would want to explore if I was the defense in this case is, let's say, for instance, she is the DoorDash driver, but let's say she never disclosed that to the police until she was pulled over for a DUI. You know, why? And those are the kind of things that I would want to explore with this witness in their background. Why wasn't this immediately reported to the police? Why don't we know about it until we see this video online of her boasting about it to police officers?
Yeah, and that's interesting. And that's interesting because that could jeopardize her testimony in a certain way. But if she says, hey, I was there, and she says she saw him, and the jury believes that, is that the end of the case? Could she be the most important witness in this whole thing? Because right now, what did I say? They're planning to use DNA evidence from the knife sheath, cell phone data, allegedly tracking him, surveillance footage, the surviving roommate potentially positively identifying him. But if she testifies, I saw him there 10 minutes before this happened, is that the end of the case?
Well, I don't know that it's the end of the case. Again, based on how you would approach these witnesses and the other evidence in this case, but it's certainly.
That was a dumb fucking I'm sorry, Jesse. I know I'm like totally ripping your content to show this shit because you were making good points. Then you asked that dumb question. And now I'm wholly regretting it. What, dude? Oh, do you think that she's going to just go up there and say he did it? And then that's the case? No, dipshit. I don't think that's what's going to happen because that isn't how court works. That's not how crime works. It's not how the justice system works. It takes all your money first of all. Okay. Second of all, there's other shit that happens in trials, aside from one half-drunk DoorDash driver going, that's the guy. If it were that simple, so many other people would be in jail and so many others would be out. So no, Jesse fucking Rita Lombardi Weber, how dare I? No, that's Jesus Christ. Jesus Rita Lombardi Christ. Jesse Grant Smith Ellis Weber, how fucking dare you, dude? Don't say things like that. You know the answer to that question is not, yeah, that's it. That's what happens. That's not. No, you fucking dipshit with perfect hair. No. That's not how it works. You will go through hazing for a wrench. You will go through hazing for a wrench. You will all be emotionally abused. Yet don't have the responsibility. They don't realize it's not worth it. Because it's just me lining you up on a wall and then screaming at you while I throw trash at you. I'm just kidding. I don't do that. Actually, I command the mods quite frequently, do nothing. It's better that way. Is her car on the neighbor's camera? Yes. And they actually have it down to a T because I believe they have her DoorDash records because they subpoenaed DoorDash. So they know like where she was because you use a GPS location that tracks you to the place. Don't worry about the kind of hazing, but you will all be hazed. It's going to be fun. You're going to be hazed and confused. Anyway, Jesse asked a stupid fucking question, but it's fine. I won't abuse you, Charlie. Mentally, I might. Just to see if I can. Because I've heard that's tough for you. Okay? Now look, listen to Jesse ask more dipshit questions.
Bolsters everything else that you have in this case. So you have, as you said, these cell phone pings, surveillance, DNA. You have a witness, although he was wearing a mask, but now you have someone who refers to him by his first name. It was Bryan. I pulled up next to Bryan outside of this house. If that's her testimony and the jury believes it, yeah, that may be the end of the story.
By the way, I got to say, if this is true, does this just not more evidence? And if he did this, is this just not more evidence of a sloppy crime? You commit a crime with an eyewitness there. You commit a crime by leaving the knife sheath. You allegedly turn off the phone and turn it back on. So it's off during the key period of the killings. That data tracks the car to and from the location of this crime scene. I mean, for a criminology student, we've talked about this before. We've been covering this case since it broke down, since it happened on Sidebar. Actually, we were covering it since the killings, even before there was arrest of Bryan Kohberger. One of the big questions is, you study criminology, you're not a criminal mastermind.
Right. Everybody thinks, and especially someone in a situation like that they can pull off the perfect crime, that you're smarter than everybody else, that I got this figured out, and, I'm going to do this for whatever reason you decide that you want to do it. The thrill of it, the thrill of the chase. But yeah, there are no perfect crimes. Inevitably, especially in the age that we live in, with the technology, with surveillance, there.
How we might be finding out about a witness. The
Yeah,
prosecution
blah, blah. Show me more of that. Here we go. Right about here.
Are in this case, and that's what's shocking about this. If this was
Grant, he can't get married. He hasn't asked our permission. That's up to us. Does he even know it's in the bylaws of the select board? Of the select board of Can?
Thing that was known, soon after this investigation began, because we know there was a DoorDash delivery. Why didn't they know about this person? Why didn't the public know about this other potential witness, unless it was only revealed, during this traffic stop?
No, dipshit, it's in document. This guy, does he not know the case? I don't think he knows the case. Now I'm mad. Now I'm getting mad. He doesn't know the case. It literally says subpoena DoorDash. They openly said the first week before they even knew who Bryan Kohberger was, right after the kids were killed, they were like, we've spoken to the DoorDash driver. Everyone chill the fuck out. Anyway, I'm about to wrap it up. Okay, we're done with that. All you need to know is DoorDash driver, she's twisted. She's on the tees. She saw some shit. She said she saw Bryan, but she also got a little drunk and got pulled over. Got a little fucking perked, okay? So with that said, is, in the words of Jay, is she going to be the thing that changes the trial? No, fucker. Don't be dumb. But is it kind of crazy that, we saw that and that she said that and that now it's out there? Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I feel kind of bad for her. But also, good to know that there's someone who saw him, because there's a lot of crazy people out here immediately doing. We're in this summer of not guilty where everybody's got to not be guilty because it was fun that one person wasn't in one trial. And then we got another not guilty and it was like, well, good. But then the problem is some people are guilty and a lot of people just don't want to they're married to their theories and they're like, nah, even though they're guilty, I'm going to say they're not. And I'm going to start websites. I'm going to meddle it. I'm going to start harassing people and get fucking crazy. And that's the summer we're in. We're in that fucking summer. It's the summer of war. Okay. There are people who are hell bent. Free Kohberger. His rights have been violated when a perfect investigation was ran. Literally, like there was no trampling across the crime scene. There was just so much done perfectly right that now at this point, they're like, they did too good of a job. You got to fucking call it off. And it's just silly. Okay. Carol Durant. This is what we're going to end on because I thought this was so fascinating. So we're talking about old footage. We're talking about crazy stuff that, is from the past. We talked about a warship, and if you want to go see more on that guy who claims to know, we got a DNA match to a case, that guy. If you scroll back in my video and you see the little part where it shows the public Facebook post, if you just type those exact words in quotes in Facebook, you will see the post and you can do your own OSINT snoop and see if you believe this with the USS Enterprise guy being the Zodiac. I don't know. What do you think? Well, every time someone claims their family is the Zodiac, we will just do that. We'll just check it out, see what you think, end of story, But here's something I saw that I did not know came out, and what blew me away is the channel I found it on that the algorithm pushed to me. I found this very cool. Carol Durant has her own YouTube channel. Do you know who she is? She's the lady who survived Bundy. She jumped out of the bug. She had the handcuffs. He pretended to be the cop. She got away. And years later, she's like at his trial and shit, testifying. And then 30 years later, when Elizabeth Kepler wrote her book or rewrote her book and put it out again, Carol appeared and was like, let's fucking talk about it. She has a YouTube channel. She keeps up with a lot of things that have to do with Ted Bundy because he tried to fucking kill her. She's concerned. Carol has her own YouTube channel. You should go to it. It is literally Carol Durant, and it has her actual original photo that's in all the books and all the magazines and all the newspapers about it and all the case files. She just posted a compilation of Rich Bundy, which is Ted Bundy's little brother. He gave an interview. There's a full form interview that will copyright strike me, but I will link that below with the other shit. But Rich Bundy, Ted Bundy's brother, did a whole long interview. I don't know how I missed this. It's pretty old. Thought I knew fucking everything about him. Turns out I did not see this. Now, I'm a friend of a Bundy relative, and he had no idea half the shit Ted did. And it was wild to see him react to it when I forcefully showed it to him. That was years ago. But I didn't realize that Ted Bundy's brother was actually still around and kicking, let alone that they interviewed him. And then to see that Carol Durant post the interview on her YouTube, it's just like, wow, dude, blast from the past before I was fucking born. But we read about these people in Ann Rule's books, in the newspaper, and studying the case files. Did you know his brother Rich was giving an interview? I had no idea. It never occurred to me to look for one. So I thought, let's watch it. It's interesting. Let's see what his brother says. Again, this is Carol's. So go follow her channel. It is Carol Durant. Here, let me actually pop open that link real quick, and I will share it with you. Go ahead, Carol. Bundy's escaped victim. She's a baddie, and she has her own YouTube channel. We will be following it. With that said, I'm going to let this fade out on this interview. It's 6 minutes long. Thank you guys for being here on the Sabbath. Hugan blesses you. Go check out Grant's channel and see what's going on over there. I suggest scrolling back, and the parts where he's being racist, just look in the chat and see if there's anything funny in there that people say to him. I don't know. Maybe there's something kind of silly at the beginning. 12-hour streams are great. We'll hop back in later and we'll check on him. I'll see if he wants to explain more Islamic feminism to me while telling me to shut up and kicking me out because I'm a woman. Anyway, you guys have the best. Have the best. Do the best. And love you. God bless. Here we go. Ted Bundy's brother on Carol Durant's channel. Can you believe it? Wow.
And he was asking if he could bring his little brother, Richard, along on certain outings that we were going on.
My name is Rich Bundy, and I was Ted Bundy's little brother. We were more than just brothers, we were close friends. I really look forward to spending time with him, which I did a lot of. Spend weekends with him, and summer vacations from school. I'd go live with him for most of the summer vacation. He was living in Seattle, and he'd have me come up there, spend a weekend, a couple of times a month. We'd go over and pick up Liz and Molly and get the raft out, and it would just seem like a really healthy, okay, I got the basket, okay, doodle-doo, here we go. Like the Wally and the Beaver, that's an analogy some people won't understand, but we're very close.
You loved him.
I did love him.
Ted just adored Richard, always wanted to take him places and do things with him. We would frequently go, me and Ted and Molly and Richard, we'd go around down certain rivers. And so it was a lot of fun, and we did a lot of rafting. I know that Richard looked up to him and kind of held him in awe.
The kind of thing a boy of 12 years old just automatically thinks like, oh, hey, that person's really awesome, got it together. I'm going to follow what they say. It's like, you can do no wrong. So, yeah. I do have pretty good recollection. I was probably 9 or 10, visiting with him in Utah. He was going to law school, and he had sent me home early. I was really upset with him because it was out of the blue. Said it in a way that, I just got something really important to do, things are really tough right now. And so I dropped it. I figured, well, it didn't matter what it was. It just upset me that, shoot, man, I was having a good time here with you, I remember when we were at the airport waiting to get on the plane, we were standing by ourselves over by a window, and I looked over at him, and he had this look on his face. He was looking one direction, and I was looking at his profile inside of him, and I don't think he saw me looking at him because I could see this look on his face that he was horrified and disgusted about something. There was never any time that he'd ever changed plans on me like that, so extremely. I think that he felt his urges coming on, knew he was about to go murder somebody, and he had enough responsible attitude to get me out of the picture so I wouldn't be involved with it.
Do you remember that camping trip with your brother?
Well, there's several camping trips like that. I looked to be about 9 or 10, maybe 8, right? On one hand, I'm curious about where it is, and I must admit, right now, thinking about it, seeing this. On the other hand, I could care less. Kind of sucks to have to say it, but I really wouldn't want this picture. There's no joy in it. Absolutely none. There was then, but not now. He could do a million of these, but it doesn't outweigh one, just one of the victims, One of those people, it only takes one person that he killed to make it all just go to shit, Yeah, I was a teenager when he was arrested, and I didn't really see the escaping as him being full-on guilty. Because, he knew I was a kid. I was being stupid and naive. I was thinking, like the fugitive story. Richard Kimball ran away to find the real killer. Probably what I was thinking. And at the same time, a part of me was blocking it out, going, dude, whatever it is, you can't do nothing about it. Don't let it ruin your life. There's a part of me trying to protect myself from all the pain by just saying, man, just go outside and ride your skateboard. Fuck him. If he's guilty, then scumbag gets what he gets, Come on into my abode, my home. Some things make me really depressed in a almost debilitating way, where I will sit in this chair for days. I'll sometimes stay in this camper for 2-3 days at a time. I don't know. I'm not really afraid of not having a normal life. I've gotten used to life being kind of a bit of you have to kind of jimmy rig your way through life sometimes. I don't recommend it to everyone to live your life precariously, but if I know I have enough to keep shelter and food for my cat and I, that's the most important thing.
Attorney John Henry Brown spent hours and hours with serial killer Ted Bundy.
He's about to publish a memoir including never-before-known details of his most notorious client's murderous secrets. C.R. Douglas sat down with Brown recently in a very candid interview, and he joins us now with the story. C.R.?
Maria, before his execution in 1989, Ted Bundy confessed to authorities to killing 30 women in 7 states. But as you're about to hear, his attorney, John Henry Brown, tells us that's not the whole story.
Ted told me things that he's never told anybody before, and they will be in my memoir when it comes out. But
like,
Ted, like he told me he killed more than 100 people, and not only women, which that's new. That's never been known. You're the first person I've ever told that to. But it's in my book.
Men were his victims.
One. His first.
Were you ever scared of him?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, well, and I've actually kind of got more scared after putting things together the last couple of years, writing about it. And I was talking to people who introduced me to Ted and how I got involved with Ted. And I now believe that Ted actually chose me. And but I found out that he researched me. He knew where I lived. He knew what kind of clothes I had. He knew what kind of cars I had. He knew. And the women I was dating were the same kind of women that he was murdering. I mean, it was really, so now I've kind of put this together recently. And that's what creeps me out a lot, because I had also lost a woman friend to a murder. My girlfriend, when I was in law school, was murdered in Berkeley. I was in DC, and so, and he knew that too.
You don't assume he had anything to do with it, but just that he knew that?
I pray to God that they didn't, and I never even thought about that until recently, because they reopened some of those cases in California.
Because it's never been solved?
Nope. But it wasn't in the area where he told me he had killed people.
After Bundy's second breakout from a maximum security prison, law enforcement across the country was on full alert. A few weeks later, when 2 sorority girls were killed in Tallahassee and 3 others severely attacked, suspicions grew that Bundy was responsible.
When he escaped the second time, the country was frantic. The FBI was number 1 wanted person in the country. And I knew he'd kill again, for sure. And I didn't know where he was. I had no idea he'd go to Florida, where I told him he'd get the death penalty, you know. So I get a call. I was in my office about 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, and I get a call from my answering service. There's a Mr. Rosebud on the phone. And I went, I knew it was Ted immediately. And he's calling from jail, and he'd been apprehended in Florida. And he was really crazy in that phone conversation. I had the biggest ethical dilemma of my career that night, because they didn't know who he was. So he's in police custody in Florida, and the cops had no idea who he was. And he's calling me, and I know it's Ted Bundy. And I know if they don't figure out who he is, and if they release him, because he was just arrested for,
Speeding
suspicious,
or something, wasn't it?
Right, that they'd release him, and he'd probably kill other people. So it was the biggest ethical dilemma of my life. I mean, do I call somebody and say, it's Ted Bundy? But see, ethically as a lawyer, I'm not allowed to do that.
So you didn't?
I didn't, but I almost did. And then the next day, it was figured out that it was Ted. So thank goodness.
Brown says one of his biggest legal accomplishments was convincing prosecutors in 4 states to spare Bundy's life.
I got a plea bargain for Ted, but nobody ever thought you'd get a deal for Ted Bundy. I got a deal for Ted Bundy to avoid the death penalty if he pled guilty and to a life sentence in Florida, Utah, and Colorado, and Washington, more or less. And he was going to do it. It's really a fun, interesting story in the memoir, I think, the way it happened, because he was going to do it, and and we're walking in this courtroom, and everybody knows we're going to do it, and he turns around and says, I'm not going to do it. So I think he had a death wish. So in Miami, when he was in the cell, I had come there I had not represented him anymore after he turned down the plea bargain, but I was going to be a witness in his trial about something. And we spent 4 or 5 hours together. That's when he gave me most of the details of what happened. And he was crying, which I've never seen him do before. So he's a sociopath. And most sociopaths don't cry. And most sociopaths never say they're a bad person. And Ted looked up to me and he said, John, I want to be a good person. I'm just not. So that to me was really interesting, because most sociopaths never admit they're evil at all. And I think Ted really knew he was evil. Evil, evil, evil. And believe me, really evil.
For Brown, the Ted Bundy case still haunts him. He's proud of the plea deal he negotiated, but knows he was a killer who deserved punishment.
This is what I'm supposed to do. It's not really fun. It's really hard work, and you don't make a lot of money. So it's kind of my path, I think.
You can't see yourself doing anything else?
Writing, which is what I want to do.
I mean, how much longer will you do this?
Well, 3 years ago, I changed my overhead thinking I would slow down, and since then I've tripled my overhead. So I think when Sergeant Bale's case is over, which will take 2 or 3 years, I'll turn my business over to the 3 incredibly competent women attorneys that work for me. And then just do 5 cases a year rather than 50. It wasn't like I planned my life this way. It just kind of happened. So.
A fascinating guy for sure. John Henry Brown's memoir will be out in a few months.
I think he knows more about Bundy than anybody else.
I do. I mean, he was one of the closest attorneys this guy had. There are certainly people who are friends that have written about him, and Ann Rule, this true crime writer we know from this